Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey everybody, welcome. And it's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically get into all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, whatever is trending in these good old internet streets. We chat about it on this good old show. So before we get started with today's show, please can you do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, please smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I also want to say thank you to a lot of the new people that have been contributing to the show. I got my record of subscribers last month. They were telling me I got 385 new subscribers. I'm so far at like 1.7K, a little over that. I'm trying to get to 2K before the end of the month. So if you guys have not subscribed, please do so. I had my record month in September. It was a lot of juice that was coming out in that last month. So the highest I was at was in July. July was a pretty good month. August is always going to be a little slow because it's kind of like the slow down period of, what's going on in entertainment. But September is always the time we pick up. And this said, like, a lot of the people that have been coming in is a lot of new people. And so, yeah, I've been getting a lot of likes, a lot of new subscribers. So if you have not, please hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button, all that good stuff. It definitely helps with the show. It helps with the algorithm. And I also want to thank all y'all that tuned into the last show we did, because that one hit big numbers too. I think it was because of the whole Wendy Williams and Diddy thing. And plus, I would also like to thank those all the crazy hot topics we was talking about. And I see a lot of people was in their feelings about that Boosie video that I did. It was a lot of homophobes jumping in my things like he don't have to accept his child, whatever. And you're right, he don't. But guess what? You don't have to accept your child, but you can respect the fact that they are who they are. And if you're not willing to meet halfway on both sides and the respect on her end and the respect on his end, then guess what? You're just gonna have to lose out on the child that you wanted to bring into this world. Because quiet as it's kept, Boosie kids ain't asked to be here. He the one that laid it low and spread it wide with them girls. And we're not also going to just ignore the things that he's done that cause out his hypocrisy. So if I was online saying they mad, so people getting mad at me because I'm cussing people out, it's like, well, when you go say bigoted stuff, you're going to get red. Sorry. You don't just get to have a difference of opinion and then I'm just going to just be like, okay, well, it's your opinion, whatever. Like, no, you can go to somebody other channel with that. Like, I'm going to combat you with the ignorance that you say because it is ignorance. But if you were right in what you were saying, then that's what it is. But when you say something straight off of ignorance and bigotry, go to somebody else's channel with that because I don't tolerate ignorance and bigotry over here. You got the right one. So besides that, we have a lot of topics to get into. So we got to talk about John Amos because he had passed away. We weren't on yesterday, so I couldn't really talk about it, but I got some information and it was revealed what he passed away from. So I have all the information. Plus, Raven-Symoné, shout out to her. I know she's been out doing her promotions or whatever. I don't know necessarily what she's been promoting because I haven't really been paying attention. I've just been seeing she's been popping up on everybody's show. I think she was on The View. She was on Sherry Shepherd today. She's been on a lot of shows. And her father passed away. So we're going to talk about Christopher Pierman and all that other stuff. We're also going to talk about that Kim Porter memoir that we talk about that people saying is not a real book that apparently is fake. Well, apparently it's been pulled from Amazon. Plus, we got some tea because there's been this story that was floating around for a while, but now I'm seeing it starting to gain traction about how Denzel Washington got into it with Diddy and the fact that he had warned certain people, even like I think it was Brandon T. Jackson or something or another, warned him not to, to leave Hollywood and all this other stuff because that's kind of like something that they were posting in the video. But anyway, so they were saying that Denzel knew about some shenanigans that was going on and got into it with Diddy. To my, I guess they seen something at one of his little parties, and he went in on the diddler about some stuff. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, Aubrey O'Day is back in the news again. She's talking and she said that people need to investigate Elon Musk because she's saying people within his camp knew about Diddy allegedly abusing a 9-year-old. So while it's hard for some of y'all to actually believe that a grown man or woman could do sexual things to a child, I mean, if you don't believe it, you could ask Bussy Madass because didn't he have a grown women having sex with his son and his nephew? As a way to make sure they don't turn out gay. That's an old trope and it don't work. So y'all wasting y'all damn time with that. So she's alluding to it. And I've been hearing some stories about Elon Musk too. And I'm gonna add to that story when we get to it. Plus, Cassie, they saying that she's apparently hurt by the baby oil joke, so we need to stop with the baby oil jokes. Because remember, what she had to deal with, that's a trigger. And so we got to pull back a little bit. Plus, I thought we was done talking about him, but apparently there's a new documentary coming out about R. Kelly, and apparently his daughter is on it, and she's spilling some tea. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Lauryn Hill is clapping back at Pras over his lawsuit against her. Wendy Williams, how you doing, is back in the news. And that's why I said, man, maybe you shouldn't have said nothing about this whole Diddy thing, because now I was like, here go her grifting ass ex-husband, still trying to get money out of her. So apparently they said that he demands the divorce be overturned and that she's hiding $48 million from him that he feels that he is owed, or he should have a piece of. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Anna Navarro's throwing shade at Melania Trump, and rightfully so. I'm with her. And I'm going to tell you why. Plus, there's a lot of this stuff still coming out about Beyonce and the Cowboy Carter era and everything that's going on with that. So we're going to break that down. Luke Bryan, who was a country music singer and an American Idol judge, is speaking out on about it. He's got his opinions on why she was snubbed. Plus, we're going to talk about her and the Grammys and things. And then I meant to bring this up the other day, but I totally forgot. Out Magazine did their version of like who they think will be the predictions that are going to make it on the Grammys list. We're going to go through that because we want to get the gay mindset, since I am, how you doing? I want to get the gay perspective and then go through their list and probably just rip it to shreds, because I'll be like, some of these people on here do not deserve to be on this list. Plus, we got to talk about Kylie Minogue, because Miss Mamas just announced the U.S. tour dates of her Tension tour, and I haven't seen her in over a decade when she did come to America. So she's finally hitting America with a proper tour in arenas, not a little theater. So it's going to be an actual arena. So we're going to talk about that and break that story down. Plus, we got to talk about Christina Aguilera. The people out here thinking that she's going a little too far, allegedly, with that Ozempic, and saying that she had a facelift, all kinds of other stuff. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, if y'all didn't know, my girl from Pose, Michél J. Rodriguez, released a new album. And she's giving a little insight into it and talk about that, this album has healed her from the trauma she's never addressed, I guess, coming up as a trans woman of color. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those mentioned stories, and plus whatever pops up in the, while we doing the show live, because this is always a live show. I thrive when I'm live, apparently, because, whenever it comes down to like a lot of stuff that's going on, I don't like doing pre-recorded because I be feeling like I'm crazy talking to myself. Even though I kind of am, but I know that a lot of y'all are watching will chime into the comments and give you commentary. So we kind of feed off of each other. Like a pre-recorded thing, I was like, I can't do that. Like I need the roar of the crowd. I need to feed off of people's energy and all that other stuff. Plus I can pretend I'm halfway crazy and like I'm sitting here talking to myself. You have to find a way to split your brain with all of that mess. But anyway, so let me hit my banner. Please hit that like button, that subscribe and notification button. Also, if you are watching live and you want to chime in during the show with anything about, whatever the following commentary, be sure to, drop your comments and I'll read it after, I'm done with each topic. Because some people be thinking, do you interact with your guests? I'm like, I do, but not during when I'm doing, when I'm covering the topics. I'm gonna have to concentrate on the story, the article, and my overall thoughts on it. And then when I'm done, I comment, I go in and I see what everybody's saying, and then I give my commentary. So without further ado, let's get to our first topic and let's talk about John Amos. So John Amos is an actor that I've pretty much grown. Well, I think if you're like a person of color, or maybe not even, if you grew up on shows like Good Times, which it was before my time, but I do remember like when I was growing up being around a lot of my family members where they would have it on. My parents always had it on in the house. Like you could watch reruns. I've always loved Good Times. That was my favorite show growing up. Good Times, The Jeffersons. Like I liked a lot of the Norman Lear stuff. So Good Times was one of my shows. I loved John Amos, especially in Coming to America. Coming to America as of the sequel, I didn't care too much for, but I love Coming to America, and I've always liked John Amos as an actor. And he had passed away. We had found out about it 2 days ago. They had passed away. Well, apparently the truth is he died a month ago. Well, not even a month. He died in August. We're in October. So why are we just now finding out about it? But guess what? We ain't the only ones that was shocked by the news. His own daughter got up on the internet and revealed that she just found out, like the rest of us, that her father passed. So the daughter of the late actor John Amos says that she is without words when learning through media reports that her father died in August. And I believe that there was some infighting and stuff going on with the siblings and this, that, and the other. And then the brother was basically more or less um, had control over what was going on with the family and all that other stuff. So let's get into it. I was like trying to see if I could pull up the Instagram. Okay, so this is from the Hollywood Reporter. So shout out to them. They said, we are devastated and left with many questions about how this happened 45 days ago, learning about it through the media like so many of you. This is what Shannon Amos said in a caption in a post on her official Instagram account. Now, Amos, best known for playing the patriarch James Evans Sr. on Good Times, died in Los Angeles on August 21st. That's my father's birthday, at 84. His death from natural causes was announced by his son Cassie on October 1st. Well, that's what they're saying. It was natural causes. However, the toxicology report already came back. And I got the results of what he actually passed from. So we're going to get to that in a second. So on her Instagram, it says the following. It says, I'm without words. Our family has received the heartbreaking news that my dad, John Allen Amos Jr., transitioned on August 21st. You know, I've always loved the word of like transition. It's like you transition from this into the afterlife. I've always liked those words. It's like, oh, they just died. Mm-mm. It's like you've gone to a better place. You've transitioned to a higher plane. That's the way I always try to look at it. So they said that we are devastated that he left and left with so many questions about how this happened 45 days ago, learning about it through the media like so many of you. This should be a time of honoring and celebrating his life, yet we are struggling to navigate the wave of emotions and uncertainty surrounding his passing. Still, there is some semblance of peace in knowing my father is finally free. My family and I deeply appreciate the outpouring of love, calls, and texts. Please continue to hold our family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. So basically, that's what was said. But hold on, let me go to the Instagram and see what they said over here.
And I knew for sure I was loved.
Oh, hold on, because they playing Luther. So I was like, I'll let that play in the background without sound, because what you're not going to do is demonetize this channel. But anyway, so let's continue. So it says, in a November 2023 feature, pulled back the veil on the acrimonious battle between Amos's children as they fought each other over their father's care and his legacy, with Shannon Amos publicly accusing her brother Casey of elder abuse. Well, they better do some investigation because he probably got some elder abuse going on in regards of what the brother was doing with the father. Now, she genuinely cared. It was just not saying that she didn't have no say-so or whatever, but she was trying to probably fight in tooth and nail to have access to, I'll pause it there, to have access to her dad or whatever. But I guess we never know like what was really going on behind the scenes, but we're just going by based on what she's saying. Now, in that November story, Shannon Amos, an entertainment exec turned medicinal healer, got to be specific with the actual profession. She told THR that she supplied extensive documentation to law enforcement agencies in Colorado and New Jersey to investigate her claims of Casey's elder abuse. That over time, her brother consolidated authority over her father and his affairs, as well as isolating him from members of his inner circle. This has not only affected me, but his grandchildren, his nieces, people he's worked with, and friends he's had for decades. Now, Shannon Amos contended that her brother had impersonated their father in communications, disregarded his medical needs, mishandled his finances, and exploited and eroded his legacy, all of which her brother rejected. Now, Casey, who has been developing a documentary about his father titled America's Dad, told THR that his sister has engaged in a Baroque crusade of character assassination in the hope of making him seem, as he puts it, unfit. Well, you know what? Sometimes that's why I said just because you blood, it don't necessarily make you family. There be people up in your own damn, kin, your own kin will try to do you harm. So, with all that being said, just to let you guys know that, the thing came out and basically the medical examiner revealed that the actor died from congestive heart failure. So that's basically what it is. So when they was talking about, it was natural causes, apparently it was congestive heart failure. This is sad and unfortunate about what this whole family is dealing with. I hope that a lot of the family will gain some healing from all of this. And it's sad that, when somebody passes, that this is like the siblings going back and forth and this is what they have to deal with. So I'm hoping that she's able to go to the funeral. I hope there's not going to be no drama and no fighting and all the other stuff. Like, keep it real professional when y'all in that situation. And after y'all bury that man into the ground, you can go your separate ways and to stay away from. This is why I have to say I love the fact that Chris Christopherson did what he was able to do when it came to his kids, and was like, you know what, when I leave this earth, this is what I want in my will. I'm handling all of this. You get this, y'all get this, y'all leave me alone, and everything's gonna be divided up evenly amongst everybody, and y'all can go your separate ways. But I don't want nobody fighting on my stuff, because what I write in this letter and what I write in this will, the letter is the will, then this is what I basically want out of all this, because when I'm dead and gone, I do not want y'all over here trying to, freaking do tug of wars with my damn money and my legacy, and have me rolling over in my damn grave. I'll be damned. That's why it's like, you really got to make sure y'all have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Everybody need to do it, even if you're not wealthy, but you got a little something. You just want to make sure that your family and everybody's straight. Or just do like, what was it, Leona Helmsley? Did she donate her money to her cat or her dog or whatever? Some people petty like that. Or like Mommy Dearest, what's her name? Joan Crawford, how she treated them damn kid, but she was evil. So it's not even like the kids was being mean to her. It was just the vice versa. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? It's unfortunate that when families have this type of drama that they're dealing with, but I guess it's the name of the game. This is why I always say, make sure y'all have y'all stuff situated, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, you can go anytime. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now we're going to go from one to another. So let's give a shout out to my girl, Raven-Symoné. I love me some Raven-Symoné. Unfortunately, she lost her father, and that's got to be a sad thing when you're, to lose a father at such a young age. She's only 38 years old, and her father passed away on October 1st. Well, she made the announcement on October 1st, so that was like 2 days ago, that her father, Christopher B. Pierman, passed away. That's another one that I have the IG post on. So please hold as I pull that up. Well, I pulled the IG thing up. Wait, hold on. Okay, so there it is. So yeah, there is a picture of her father. I don't think that's her mother though, because I've seen her mother before. That don't look like that might be her mother. Maybe that's her grandmother, somebody. But anyway, so she said that. So basically, they said the following. Shout out to people for this story, saying, share the news in an Instagram post on Tuesday, October 1st. The actress and producer included a picture of herself as a child alongside her dad. The photo was accompanied by a loving message saying, my life has been long and abundant, and the path I'm on started with a dream. Hope he is watching with a smile on his face. Hashtag Christopher B. Pierman. Now, while Simone didn't share further details, she confirmed the news via social media follower, asked whether Pierman had died. She said, yes, ma'am. Because I think it was that somebody had asked that, we're friends on social media, whatever the case is. I need to know if this is legit or if this is a lie. Like, here's the thing. Like, why would Raven-Symoné, of all people, write a thing about her father dying if it wasn't a fact? But I guess some people want to be like, they want to confirm. But I'm sitting there like, but if the person is my father, I'm not going to make that up. So anyway, they said that Simone is protective of her relationship with her parents, and not much information is known about their family dynamic. However, Pierman was her manager in the early days of her career. In a June 2010 interview with NPR, Pierman said that he stopped managing his daughter's career a few years beforehand, and that it was important for her to be able to take the reins. Saying that she got to a point, she said, Daddy, I can run my own company. I can run my own thing a few years ago. He said, and I'm like, you have the tools. When asked about whether he was hurt that Simone wanted to manage her own career, Pierman shared the following. He said, no, absolutely not. I've been managing that girl's career since she was 6 months old. It's just like you having a child and saying, I'm ready to go to college and do my own thing and move out of the house. It's like, okay, go ahead. And I just say, you know what? That's when it goes to show that you come from a good foundation with the type of household in which you live in, because if that's basically the overall look at it, to me it's like, okay, you got a good parent, and that parent is not out to take advantage of their child, which you get a lot of show parents that get in that whole situation where they go, oh well, now you trying to replace me, or I feel, or you trying to just get rid of me, and then there's this animosity. Now if it comes to that, then it's like, okay, this parent don't really care about you. But to see the fact that he's like, you know what, yeah, you grown, you can take care of your, you can take the reins of your own career after I made sure all the vultures wasn't going to try to take advantage of you, whatever the case is. Sidebar, I really need to get around to watching that um Demi Lovato child star docuseries. I still have not gotten around to watching that. And I know Raven-Symoné's on there. And I'm sure that she's talking about a lot of things that was going on her childhood. So I don't really want to speak too much on it because I don't want to speak out of term and be like, well, maybe there was some stuff that was going on that she wasn't able to escape from. But I definitely want to check that out so that way I'll be able to have all the knowledge. But from what I've seen so far, I don't feel that her parents have taken advantage of her. And Raven's got to seem like she's got a good head on her shoulders. We haven't heard anything negative about her being in the news. I think the only time that people only really be talking about her was A, when her weight was fluctuating, and B, when y'all found out she was a lesbian. And then she went mad at white woman. But look, she happy. She's, living her best life. She's got a popular podcast. She's producing and doing and acting and doing those other things. So she's got a good life going. So shout out to you, Raven. And condolences to you in regards of, you're losing your father, because that's got to be remotely painful. I don't know what it's like to lose a parent. I have parents who lost one of their parents. My father lost his mother like maybe a month after 9/11. So, and then my mother lost my grandfather a couple of years ago. So I don't know what that's like to lose a parent, but I can only imagine that that's got to be pretty hard when you lose a loved one. Especially when, well, I think it is, you want to bury your parents before your parents bury you. Because I've been on the other side of that where I know people who had to bury their kids. All the crazy stuff happening. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's move on to our next story, and let's talk about Amazon pulling that fake imported memoir about Sean Diddy Combs off their shelves, because there was a lot of backlash, particularly from, well, I don't know if there were the people was running around saying that it needed to be removed, but I do know that Albie Shore came out and was like, he sent out cease and desist. He said that if the book is not removed, that he's going to contact Jeff Bezos, that he's going to go after a whole lot of people, and it's going to be a lawsuit. So now the latest is that Amazon done pulled the book after they was finding out it was all a lie, in the words of my girl Carly Red. So yeah, the book is fake. And you know what really tainted the whole situation? Because it was like, yeah, I didn't know if it was fake or not, but we did entertain it on the show, even though there was a lot of rumors going on about it. But then a lot of people were going around saying like, there was a possibility that it could be fake, and comes to find out that it is. So Amazon has yanked the book. About, her years with accused trafficker Diddy, after the pair's children blasted it for being completely made up. So it wasn't just, the kids went and put out their little Instagram joint post or whatever that I'm sure was approved by a publicist. But for the most part, Albie Shore was the one that was out here screaming the loudest about it. So Porter and Combs' children denounced the book titled "Kim's Lost Words: A Journey from Justice Journey for Justice from the Other Side," and said it was a complete fabrication. And it was also a bestseller. I know there's some people that got the book or whatever. I wasn't intending on buying it. First of all, I felt like I got all the tea I needed from when we talked about it on the show. That seemed like the most salacious parts. I didn't want to sit and go and do a whole deep dive and reading all the details and stuff. Now, if it comes out in the news, in the media, and from the court case and all the other stuff, then I'll be willing to read. But with all of this, I don't want to hear nothing about the disgusting details, whatever. And then the book had implied that Albie Shore had a sexual relationship with Diddy, and that's what really sent him over there. It was like, I ain't never touched that man, especially when Diddy allegedly tried to, had something to do with Al's coma. He implied that was like when he was in that coma, that had something to do with the diddler probably trying to off him, which is why a lot of people feared coming forward about their situations. And now we're hearing like it's up to 200 people, almost 200 people right now, in regards to people who've come at him. That hotline is blowing up. with accusations. So they basically said the independent publisher is Todd Christopher Guzzi, who goes by the name Chris Todd and defines the occupation as an investigative reporter, author, and journalist. Todd told AP, as in the Associated Press, in a phone interview in September that sources very close to him and Combs provided him with the flash drive, documents, and tapes from Porter that he eventually pieced together to create the memoir. He also used the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood when publishing the title. Now, I don't know what the man looked like, but they said he's a white man, but why he going by a black pseudonym to sell a book? To me, if that ain't blackfishing, I don't know what is. But then I think what really started to hurt his credibility was that he went and said, if somebody put my feet to the fire and they said life or death, is that book real? I have to say, I don't know, but it's real enough to me. And then also went and said that, oh, well, I didn't really do enough of the investigating to know if whether or not the stuff was true, but I'm just going, I have to believe that it's true to put out there. So if you're not going to dot all your I's and cross your T's in the ways that you're not going to get caught up in a lawsuit, then why would you go and risk putting this book out with the whole, with the risk of being sued? It's the same thing when I was hearing about Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright been talking tooth and nail about what's been going on at these Diddy parties and about a lot of people in the industry. Some have called her a liar. Some have said that, oh no, it's not made up, that she's actually been telling people this for years. But here's a question I have to ask, and Dame Dash asked this question, and it made a whole lot of sense. Now, if Jaguar Wright was out here lying, right, where is all the lawsuits against her for lying? Y'all been saying she talking about her behind. You know who recently said that? Manika, aka Usher ex-wife. I got her post. Please hold. I'm gonna look that up and I'm gonna read it to y'all as a class. So this heifer. Oh no, that's the Luke Bryant story that I'm gonna get to later. Somebody had sent me that too. Okay, so she went. I don't know what comment she was in. Probably was in the neighborhood tour because that's where everybody go. Apparently, excuse me. Something's on my damn screen. Anyway. So she said, by giving a platform to someone like Jaguar, who is notorious for spreading lies and baseless claims, you're only giving more weight to her slander. She hasn't been credible for decades. Her time in the industry was short-lived and long forgotten. And now she just makes a living by attacking everyone. Reporting on what she says gives the false impression that her statement has some merit. She's broke, irrelevant, and thrives off creating drama because there's nothing left for her. It's disappointing that you're amplifying her fabrications rather than letting them die in the irrelevance they deserve. She even had the audacity to speak about my deceased son. So for me, it's an on-site situation. Oh, so she talking about that. She brought up stuff with Usher and then talked about the son. Now, here's the thing. This is where we got to leave the kids out of it. If you want to talk about Diddy parties and things that was going on there that you may have witnessed and all that other stuff, then you can talk. But don't be bringing up other people's kids. And I guess maybe she said this on Piers Morgan because it's funny how this lady can go on Vlad TV. She can go on all the black publications and y'all won't say a damn word. But the minute they cross over that aisle and sit on that couch with them white folks, then all of a sudden you ninjas want to pipe up with the battery in your back and all of a sudden want to discredit what people saying. But before we wrap this up, there was a clip that I had came across of Jaguar that came out. I don't know how old this is, but I was trying to see if it was maybe in the timeline when they talked about this. But she was on somebody blue couch. Maybe y'all can help me out because I don't be following Jaguar right about that. I do be seeing her doing a lot of videos. She's done videos with Storm and Rowe. I believe she sat down with Tasha K. She sat down with a lot of people, and y'all ain't said a word. But yeah, like I said, the minute she went over there to Chris Cuomo and that big head heifer, well, I said Piers Morgan and his long head ass. The minute she go over there, all of a sudden black people get mad. So it's like y'all want to keep our tea in the in the circle. The minute y'all step out and cross over to the other side, and the white people start getting interested in investigating and start trying to, piggyback off of our stuff, TMZ and the like, then y'all get upset. Y'all need to be upset all the time, not just sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna play this clip of her talking about at Diddy parties how he had the horse tranquilizer and all the other stuff, which they was the police said that this is what was been going on for years. I mean that's what he was using at the parties, but she been saying it. Please
It's a veterinary drug. It's a horse tranquilizer. Now, gay men have been using this for years. See, back in the day, if you went to a gay party or a gay rave, there were certain drugs that you would always find on hand. Viagra, ecstasy, Special K, and cocaine. It's a veterinary drug. It's
Girl, don't be up in here telling all our tea. But she is right, because here's the thing. I knew a lot of friends when, especially when you would go to like those, not, I guess you can call it raves, but it's like one of those, it's like, I call it circuit party. Like y'all call it raves. The gays, we will go to a circuit party. Like if you went to, I'll throw him out there. Like if you ever went to a Junior Vasquez type of show, like if he was playing at like Roseland or the Palladium, Limelight, any of those places, if he was there, if the late Peter Rohofer was playing, if any of the circuit DJs was playing those type of events, yes, Special K was the drug of choice. I personally never used it, but I do know friends, and I have friends from that circle, because once upon a time, yes, Chris was a club kid. It wasn't that long ago, but yes, once upon a time I was a club kid. I was up in there with the DJs, with the Peter Rohofer, and going to the Sound Factory and all that other stuff. Yes, mother has lived. And I was going to them parties in the Roxy. And yes, I was young, real young and underage, but nevertheless, I was up in them parties because I knew the DJs. And I knew the people, and the people I hung out with. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yes, that is the drug of choice that a lot of people was using. And I would watch friends that would sit up in there in that K-hole. They be thinking like they jumping up and down, having a good old time. Child, they holding on to the speaker like this, like they been electrocuted. But they just in a whole K-hole. So I never did drugs that severe. But I know friends who have, and so I don't know what it would be like to be in a K-hole, but I have witnessed people in a K-hole. So she is correct, and those are the type of drug of choice. And this kind of makes me wonder, like the type of drugs that Diddy was using, the type of parties he was doing. This is why I tell you, it's that repressiveness from being a closeted man. I don't know if Diddy is gay, but I do feel like based off the stuff he had bisexual tendency, or maybe he is gay, and that's why he hates women, because the things that he's done to women, you cannot love a woman and do the things that you do to a woman and be okay with that. You have to have a deep hatred for women. And Diddy gives me butch queen tease. He's always giving me that. And so from all the things with the way he beats on and abuses women, and the way he treats anybody in the business, and having these freak offs and doing the sexual things that he was doing with men, which that's always been the rumors always was floating about Diddy being into men for decades. I was gonna say years, but it was longer than that, since the 90s. Take that. So I'm sure, like I said many a time, this story ain't going nowhere. I'm glad that book went somewhere, and it went away. So I hope if y'all got y'all copy, look, y'all at least y'all have the book. And it could be like some type of memento or whatever that you have in your house that you be like, oh yeah, I got the book. But at this point, it's like you got a book of lies. But at least you could say that in a moment in time, if you want to keep it, that this book is just going to be there for whatever reason, whatever. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? If you have the book, have you returned it? Are you disappointed that the stuff in the book is a lot? And here's the thing. I just hope that with this book being the one thing about the lie, that this doesn't discredit the many other people who actually have been abused by him, and it doesn't discourage y'all from trying to discredit them, because everybody's gonna come out with their story. You just have to trust in the legal system that yeah, anybody can come out and lie, anybody can come out and say all kinds of whatever, but they got to be vetted. And this is why our legal system moves at such a snail pace. So let me know what you guys think of this story down in the comments below. Okay, so now let's move on to our next Diddy story. We got a couple of Diddy stories, and it seems like every day when we do a Diddy, we do a show, we got a couple of Diddy stories before we get to, all the other things. But anyway, so speaking of those freak offs and the parties that we alluded to in the earlier part of the show, they talk about A-listers who chopped it up at his legendary parties knew when the exit stage left when things got a little cray-cray. So, but then we always heard stories about how when it came down to Diddy, how you had to have a special wristband to be invited into certain parts of his legendary parties. So if I guess you want to do the regular party, you had a special wristband for that. If you wanted to do the outdoor side of the party, you had a wristband for that. If you want to go to the freak-offs, you were told whether or not you need to be up. Oh, okay, it's time for y'all to leave because it'd be about to turn up, and then you'd have a special wristband for that. So they said what happened before 2 a.m. pales in comparison what happened at 5 a.m. This is what a source told Us Weekly on Wednesday. The insider claimed to have attended one of the infamous soirees themselves, saying they were known to be wild. Anything went at those parties. Now, according to another source who allegedly wrangled guests for Diddy's white parties between 2006 and 2011, many A-listers cut out early before things took a turn between 2 and 3 in the morning. And I'm sure one of them was Denzel, because we're about to get into that story in a second. But I just want to give you all an insight into what was going on allegedly at the parties. They said girls would start to lose their clothes, the individual claimed to Us Weekly. That was a sign for people to leave. So the minute them titties came out, it was time to exit stage left. Now, based on this picture, I kind of like, Usher was participating in some stuff that was going on up in there. But I wonder if Justin is on one of them tapes. We already talked about Justin Bieber, but we talking about the other Justin, as in Timberlake, who y'all can see there. This is when he was going through his faux shiz era. If you know, you know. Like Jennifer Lopez and that orange drink, right? And a ham and cheese on a roll. But anyway, let's get to this. So they said the insider alleged that drugs emerged at the time, with the magazine reporting that the ensuing benders lasted until 7 a.m. A third source claimed sex workers would do whatever you wanted. Combs' extravagant events, from his birthday bashes to his white parties, have been under scrutiny since his recent arrest. Now, when the rapper was taken in custody in New York City last month and hit with trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution charges, the court documents pertaining to the March raids on his homes were unsealed. Now, they said federal agents described finding, okay, we already know about the baby oil, we already know about the lubricant, and some people, even Cat Williams, was saying they probably laced some drugs and stuff up in there. Then they also went on to say, I think half the people were butt naked. This is what Khloe told Kourtney Kardashian in a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So yeah, on their reality show, they saying, oh, this for our entertainment, but we're not thinking too much of it. But now, with him being busted, the chickens will come home to roost. And then in the 2019 Hot Ones interview, Ashton Kutcher, or who I like to call sometimes Ashy Coochie, said that there is a lot he can't tell about the soirees, because he was probably participating. Now, they also talk about how, Tony Busby, who was a Texas-based attorney, he did a press conference the other day, said that many powerful people will also be pulled into the fray. They're going to expose the enablers and the people who allowed a lot of this stuff to happen, including allegedly the SAing of a 9-year-old boy, as well as other people who were underage that were exploited at the hands of Diddy and his legendary freak-offs. Now, speaking of which, let's get into this situation with Denzel Washington, because when I heard this today, I was like, ooh, we definitely need to talk about this. So they was talking about how Denzel stormed out of one of Diddy parties because he was like, oh, you don't give a sugar honey iced tea about anybody in here. So they got into a heated argument back in 2003. So this is almost like, about 21 years ago. So a source who was friendly with Diddy 54 in the early 2000s exclusively shared in the latest issue of Us Weekly that Oscar winner Washington, who was 69, and the music mogul got into it during an all-night gathering. Denzel screamed, "You don't respect anyone." And this is what the insider recalled. The incident ended in Washington storming out. Now, Denzel and his wife Pauletta had been partying until dawn. Well, y'all broke the dawn like, what's her name from Destiny's Child? Not Kelly Rowland, not Beyonce, the other Michél Williams, Tanitra. So anyway, so they say years later, after facing several SA and abuse allegations, Diddy was arrested in September. He was later charged with trafficking, racketeering, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Why do you always have to put the charges in every damn article? We know what the charges are by now. Now, they said following his arrest, the 14-page incident was unsealed and detailed all the accusations against him, including all the freak-off stuff that was going on, that happened in hotel rooms, that he was pleasuring himself during and often electronically recorded, himself pleasuring himself as the freak-offs and shit was going on. So, but yeah, I guess I'm like, is there anything else to add to this? Because I see like all they said was Denzel screamed, "You don't respect me, you don't respect anyone," and then stormed out. But what was the incident that occurred for him to come to that conclusion? Because I don't see what that is. Like, y'all sitting up here talking about, okay, so we know about the abuse allegations, we know about the racketeering, we know about all that stuff, but there's nothing in the article that states specifically what caused Denzel to come to that conclusion. Did he see some type of abuse going on with a girl? Did he see something going on being, a dude being manhandled? Did he see any kind of what specifics according to this person? Because it just seemed like at this point, a lot of you, and I don't want to get to this point where I start making it seem like we're discrediting people, but we're going to let's talk about it. So now we're going to get up in here and we're going to come out with every day, everybody got an allegation about Diddy. And rightfully so, because he is a monster. I've never liked the man. But we need to be fair in a lot of situations. Everybody just can't be pulling stories out there behind without specifics into what exactly Denzel allegedly saw to have him get to that point. So I am curious about, what that is, that they got into it at a gathering. So it's like you didn't say what it was that they saw. He seen something. He reacted, and then him and Pauletta left. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this story as it develops. If in case any more stuff comes out about him allegedly going at it with Diddy and stuff. But I've always heard stories about how Diddy was telling people not to go to not Diddy, that Denzel would tell people not to hang out at his thing, go to his freak offs, whatever the case was. There was some video that I've seen surfacing about Brandon T. Jackson, the actor, who was advised not to go to his parties and talk about quit Hollywood because Hollywood is a nasty place. There is a dark side. There's a dark side to every job that you acquire yourself to be part of. You just have to know the signs, listen to that gut instinct, and not partake in that. If it takes you a long time to get your career to where it needs to go, take that long road. Because the shortcuts you only end up at a Diddy freak off. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on what we talked about in the Diddy situation so far, let me know in the comments down below. Alexis Lazaro said that Kim's friends have the book and her friends need to come out already because they are the only ones I believe. Well, if they have the book, if they know some stuff, I do agree that they do need to come out and speak out on this, because I keep hearing conflicting stories. There's some people that's saying that Kim's friends know what happened, or there's some people that's trying to vindicate themselves in some sort of way, which is why they trying to call this a fluff piece or whatever the case is. So I don't necessarily know what to believe, but I guess with Amazon, because it can't be proven whether or not this is true because Kim's not here to protect themselves, they're removing the book because they don't want to get sued. They're like, well, how did Amazon put that up there? But I think anybody could sell anything on Amazon. I don't know if they vet things. I've never sold anything on Amazon, so I don't know what how their process works. But I would be interested to find out, what's the process in case I get to a place where I want to sell some stuff on there. Okay, so now let's move on to the next story, and let's talk about Aubrey O'Day, who is dragging Elon Musk into the conversation. And you want to know something? I'm kind of glad that she brought his name up, because while this Diddy stuff has been going on and everybody's been so distracted by what he's doing, when, we need to be paying attention to this election, among other things that's going on, I have heard rumblings that they said that Elon Musk parties need to be investigated too, because there's some shenanigans and things of that nature that's been going on in his presence that need to be investigated. And I'm sure, man, who knows? I'm hoping that does happen, because that man definitely needs to be stopped. Wait, hold on. Did I hit the wrong thing? Oh, yeah, I think I did. Okay, so it says that Aubrey O'Day believes Elon Musk's friendship with Diddy is coming back to bite him. So the Tesla owner reshared a screenshot of an article with the headline, "Diddy accused of abusing 9-year-old boy and spiking drinks with horse tranquilizer," as 120 victims come forward with shocking claims on his social media platform Twitter on Tuesday, because y'all already know. I already told y'all. I refuse to call it that other one. The letter that comes after W and before Y. I refuse to call it that. It will always be Twitter. So Musk, who's 53, wrote, how many people in music and entertainment knew about this? Well, I'm sure you did. And then O'Day, who has spoken out against her former boss, Combs, for years, reposted the SpaceX founder. Oh, I always said if he was a drag queen, we can call him Sissy SpaceX, because he has the shuttle thingy, whatever. That'd be his drag name. So anyway, she said that she reposted the SpaceX founder's remark on Wednesday, adding, ask your friends, they'll tell you. Now, it was unclear which friends of Musk, the showstopper singer who's 40, was referring to. Page Six reached out to reps of both O'Day and the billionaire businessman, but did not immediately hear back. Now, earlier this week, Texas-based attorney Tony Busby announced that he was representing 120 individuals, including a 9-year-old child, in civil lawsuits against Combs, 54, for allegations spanning the last 3 decades. Busby alleged that the Bad Boy Records founder has SA'd the minor. The individual, who was 9 at the time, was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well, the lawyer told reports on Tuesday. This individual was SA'd allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio, with the promise to both his parents and himself of getting a record deal. Busby also claimed that Combs had drugged victims by spiking their drinks with horse tranquilizer, which is the clip that we showed y'all earlier from Miss Jaguar Wright talking about it. Now, several of the individuals I represent were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system. Weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which is based on our research is known as horse tranquilizer. And it's funny, I've never heard it being called as trank. I know we call it in the gay community Special K, like the cereal. So this was like news to me when they called it trank or xylazine or whatever the case is. So they also said that Busby claimed that a pregnant woman's drink had been laced when she attended a group dinner with the Act Bad rapper in Miami. The attorney alleged that the woman, who said she avoided alcoholic beverages all night, blacked out and woke up in the same bed again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagine and her booty hole were torn and sore. But they said anus. I was trying to clean it up. But I guess you can't clean up anus. So they said after the press conference, Combs' legal team told Page Six that the embattled music mogul emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he SA'd anyone, including minors. Well, child, I'm not buying it. Well, let's put on this picture of Elon. Don't he look like something wrong with it? Well, he looked like something wrong with him there. Shout out to Aubrey. The body is bodying. That's her tweet. That basically, in case y'all didn't see when he asked the question, I was like, Elon, are you out here trying to make yourself look like you ain't a part of no situation? Like you probably wasn't doing anything crazy out here either. And yeah, we definitely need to investigate you. But why he look like something wrong with him? Like he look a little slow. If you know what I'm saying, I think you do. That's special. But anyway, so yeah, so to unpack all of this, I'm glad, I always feel like Aubrey is gonna come out and say little things. I don't know if she's gonna go in too hard on anything. I was like, because I wanted to find my do I have one about? Oh yeah, I do have one about sexual abuse. So yeah, I want to put that up there in case anybody want to call that hotline. It's like if anybody who's been assaulted or whatever the case was, you got to call that hotline. I would like to do my due diligence on this show. That's how I play my part in thinking outside and helping those who need those numbers. But anyway, so I'm glad that she's slowly but surely speaking out. And I'm wondering if Aubrey will actually put out a book or whatever the case is on things that she may have not told us about, that she wants to reveal about what went on, with her time with Diddy and all this other stuff. Now, the whole thing with the 9-year-old boy, I know there's been a lot of people on social media who feel like they don't believe that that's true. That why would a man with children do that to a child? And it's like, but that's not his child. So why wouldn't they? Have you never seen things like a hostel or any kind of like things where people who have money and access go and do things so unorthodox, so crazy, so out of the ordinary. Because it's like when you have money, when you have access, when you have things, it's like you get bored when you have a lot of money and when you pretty much can have everything thrown at you. So what it hasn't that I haven't done that I could possibly get away with because I have access to money? Oh, I can just go and have sex with a child, or I can go and let's put hostile into it. So I can go to some foreign country and I could bid on a body and just gut it to death because nobody will miss them. It's a way that I can get over. It's me doing something that I've never been able to do before. When you have access to money and a lot of things, and nobody tells you no, you'll be surprised the drastic measures that people will take just so that way it fulfills some kind of crazy, whacked out fantasy. These stories about MK Ultra, the stories about sacrificing, things for that that success in the world, or whatever the case is, when everybody talks about the Illuminati and all that mess. So people are capable of anything. I could be shocked by certain things. I don't really get shocked because I don't put nothing past people. I think I'm just so damn cynical that it's like I don't want to believe certain things, but then I'm looking at it, it's like you don't know what people are capable of. I don't put nothing past nobody. So when people try to look, oh, I can't possibly see him doing that. That's another thing that goes on in the Black community too. We tend to overlook. We'll be quick to call people out for being part of the LGBTQ community. That's always a bad thing. Apparently that's the ultimate straw that breaks the camel's back with a lot of people of color. But let your man be an abuser, as in beating your behind, or let him be a sexual abuser where he's diddling with your kids, if he's not even the biological father, or if he is the biological father. And sometimes it's the women too, because women are abusers as well. Or whatever case, we overlook all of that. Man committing murder. Y'all be happy when he get out of jail. We accept all of that, but let it be a man doing this type of stuff. Y'all want to make excuses. We got to stop making excuses for people like a Diddy, because people say that also. Oh, well, they always try to take a Black man down. I feel like what the real thing is, you don't like the fact that somebody's taking down somebody who's wealthy. Oh, because they have a lot of money and they have a lot of access. What, you think you getting a piece of that? So why is it like when they do bad things to people and we should be protecting women, we should be protecting children? It's like, is there a certain point that we're not supposed to be doing that? Because last time I checked, I'd be going hard for those who can't defend themselves, which is why I try to bring this on this platform. So does Elon Musk need to be investigated? Is the Pope Catholic? So yes, I do think that people need to start looking into Elon Musk, because I think he ain't innocent in a lot of stuff either. And for him to try to be slick and post that tweet about how many people in the music industry knew about this. I'm thinking for a long period of time, a lot of the stuff was going on in the music industry. I've always said, when was the music industry going to have its Me Too moment? And now it feels like it's happening. It just took us a while to get there. And I think maybe because people look the other way, because the music industry, the music industry isn't what it used to be. The music industry was making people a lot of money. So therefore, a lot of people looked the other way in a lot of the situations that was going on. You're just a regular body, so they didn't care. If you're a young person, if you're somebody who doesn't have as much power, whatever, you're disposable. You're expendable. You're irreplaceable. But now the chickens have come home to roost, and now that it's time still of Me Too, time's up, and all this other stuff. Those people that y'all look down upon that ain't sugar honey iced tea, they're finally, having their day, and they're getting their vengeance against, the higher up, the powerful, the elite. And yes, didn't need to be put into the damn jail. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all believe, like Aubrey said, that Elon friends need to be investigated? Quiet as it's kept. Like I said, Elon need to be investigated too, and his parties and what was going on over there. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Kelly says, I used to think Aubrey was a home wrecker. You want to know something? I think a lot of people probably thought that. They thought she was a home wrecker and an opportunist. But I feel like now because we've been paying close attention, and it's like, you know what? Aubrey was right. Aubrey was just that girl that kept it real. Now, I'm probably sure that there was some things in there where maybe she had home wrecking ways. I mean, quiet as it's kept, she did sleep with Don Jr. while he was married to his ex-wife. So maybe she is a home wrecker in that sense. And I like you, Aubrey. I'm just saying, because look, the other day when I posted something about Diddy, she actually liked my comment. So that's not the only reason. I do like you, sis, but we got to call a spade a spade. And I do agree with that. But yeah, she's the queen of the tea. And every time Aubrey come out and say something, you best believe my ears perk up and I'll be bringing it up on the show. So Robert says, speaking of white folks, country legend's biggest selling act, Garth Brooks, is accused of SA and battery. This one shocks me. I grew up with Garth Brooks. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people would say that. And you know what? We definitely want to, I'm going to look into that. Because, you know, I don't just expose Diddy and things of that nature on this show. Maybe there's other places that do that. And I think that's probably where it's one. This is another thing that had me thinking too. Because I've been noticing, because it had me really sit back and think. There were some people that were saying that, oh, well, they only going after black people. They want to go and pick on Chris Brown. They want to go pick on Diddy. I said, first of all, what happened to Quiet on Set? Like, that wasn't a black man. That was Dan Schneider. And then people were saying, well, trying to, I guess, put him and Diddy's thing as the same thing. I'm like, until somebody from Nickelodeon say that Dan Schneider did something inappropriate with them outside of the content that we saw on those shows growing up, if they said that that man put his feet in their mouth or was molesting them or whatever the case is, then we cannot say that their situation is the same. Somebody has to be coming out, and somebody has to come out and say something. Amanda Bynes, because they allegedly had a close relationship, the day Amanda Bynes comes out and says something happened between her and Dan Schneider that caused her to be having her little mental breakdown, then we'll talk about it on this show. But until then, it's not the same thing. And we can't go and equate situations or put things in the same basket if we don't know what really happened. But all this stuff that's coming about Diddy, that's what we're reporting on. But it had me thinking, so I was like, because they were saying, oh, they only want to focus on this, but they don't focus on white people. First of all, white people are not the litmus test of morality. So we need to stop trying to equate what they doing over there, what's going on over here, and stop worrying about what white people are going to think and what white people are doing. Another thing that had me thinking was the fact that, yeah, with that being said, it was like, maybe y'all are getting y'all information from only black publications and black blogs. Maybe a lot of y'all need to step outside of the neighborhood talk, the shade room, and all that other stuff and go to other places and get information. When I want to find topics, I don't just go to the shade room, neighborhood talk, Hollywood Unlocked, that sort of thing. I'm looking on TMZ. I'm looking on the Daily Mail. I'm looking on, what's the other one? Page 6, The Guardian. Whatever, I go on the white folks stations and I go on the black folks station. I'm looking everywhere. And the websites. You got to be able to be well-rounded instead of always trying, because I feel like it's intellectually lazy when people want to go and jump on, well, they only talk about this. I'm like, no, that's probably what you're paying attention to, because you only go to one or two places to get your celebrity information. And people got to stop doing it. It's like, it's no different than people who only get their information from Fox News or people who only watch CNN and MSNBC. You got to go to other places. It's like, even if you want your politics stuff, you can watch Don Lemon. You can watch, who else? The Young Turks, even though sometimes they get on my damn nerves. And then you can watch all the other politics shows, but watch all the other pundits too. Alexa says, well, Elon can't do honestly whatever he wants. He makes a spaceship. Okay. Said when they come after him for alleged assault, he gonna get in that spaceship and stay out there and be floating with the comets and stuff. Alexa says, I wonder if men will ever come out and talk about Madonna. I wonder if he parties. Are you talking about like saying that what Madonna will be in a situation like a Diddy, whatever? I can't see Madonna being, that type of partier. I feel like she exercised a lot of her sexual demons or whatever through her art. I feel like Madonna gives me conservative behind the scenes. I feel like she do all this stuff for attention, and the sexual stuff is for the art and the music and videos and all other stuff. But behind the scenes, I can't see like she got full on sex drive and being a freak. A lot of people are like that. They'll project a lot of that art and a lot of that in their work, but then behind the scenes, they Mother Teresa. But that's what she gives me. But anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about Cassie because, out of everybody that's been going through what they've been going through, it seems like Cassie been the one that a lot of people have seen and have forgotten about in regards of how all this stuff that's been coming out about Diddy, how was she being affected? Especially when she was the one that got this ball rolling in regards of what's been happening with Diddy so far, with her lawsuit. And then he came out here and called her liar, which a lot of y'all seem to have forgotten. Oh, it's a money grab, payday, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Then that T dropped, after the lawsuit, the damn video came out of him beating her behind in a hotel room, and y'all gagged. But before that, she was a liar. She's taking advantage, so on and so forth. A lot of people had to walk that back because they had eggs on it. And, not egg. Well, I guess we could make it plural. You had a lot of egg on your face. So Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie has reacted to the jokes and memes about the rapper's use of baby oil against his female victims. Even though recently Cat Williams, as I like to refer to as my Virgo twin, because he and I both born September 2nd, he came out and made jokes about it. But yeah, I do agree. Like a lot of times we don't take into consideration, we sit there laughing and kikiing about what they're saying, but then we don't think about the people who've been affected by this, how this hurts them. So it said the R&B singer, 38. I love you, Cassie, but girl, you get no saying. But neither here nor there. Let me not nitpick. Let me just read the article. So Cassie, who was 38, sent shockwaves around the world when she filed a lawsuit against Combs last November, in which she accused the rapper of subjecting her to physical and SA during their decade-long relationship. Now, months after the pair agreed on a settlement, the disgraced rapper and mogul has been indicted by New York prosecutors on charges including SA and racketeering. Now, federal agents claim they confiscated 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Okay, so we already know about that, but I guess I need to reiterate the baby oil and stuff because it pertains to the story. So it says that Cassie is reportedly hurt by the jokes and is now trying to take a step back from the news around her ex after it was revealed he will be hit with a new lawsuit brought on by more than 100 alleged victims, one of whom was a child. Saying the following. They said she is hurt that people are making jokes and memes out of the baby oil because of what it could have been used for. This is what an insider told DailyMail.com, saying it isn't funny to her or anyone who experienced similar. Now, Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnafilo, tried to explain the quantities of baby oil, saying that he buys in bulk at Costco. But then Costco clapped back and was like, we do not sell baby oil up in here. And that's to my chat because I go to Costco and BJ's. I do not recall I could ever buy any baby oil at the Costco. Now, if y'all got a Costco that do sell baby oil, let me know. But last time I checked, I ain't never bought no damn product, lotion, baby oil, face cream, any of that. Now I bought shampoo and conditioner from the Costco, but not no baby oil. And you ain't gonna be able to buy none. So I do wonder with her, is she triggered by baby oil? So to the point where you will never see her put no baby oil on. I'm like, sis, quiet as it's kept. It's best to use cocoa butter. Don't use no baby oil. I prefer cocoa butter because it lasts long and it smells good. So they said, and these are consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. We can't get so puritanical in this country to think that somehow sex is a bad thing because if it was there, would be more people. So yeah, so they were basically saying that because I do agree with that. Like we shouldn't be looking at sex as like it's a bad thing, but I feel like that's due to religion. Because when you like for me, for instance, when I grew up Catholic, they were like sex is for procreation. Well, I can tell you for a fact that's a damn lie. First of all, sex should not only be used for no procreation; it should be used for pleasure. But when you come from a situation where priests aren't allowed to, they have to take a vow of celibacy. Why would they want us to have sex for pleasure? Meanwhile, let's not even get into the whole religious thing of how some of y'all priests be frequenting the gay bars and things trying to get y'all free going. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So they said that on Tuesday, Texas lawyer Tony Busby announced that he is repping 120 victims who he believes have legitimate cases against the media mogul spanning a 25-year period. Now, Cassie has heard mumblings about the class action suit, but broke down in tears when she was informed of the allegations about the child. This is what the source continued, saying she is planning to take time away from receiving updates because it has sickened her, and she hopes that anyone who was hurt receives justice and peace of body and mind. So, I love the fact that, yes, she's out here saying that, they she wants them to seek retribution and seek justice for what he's done. She also has 2 children, we should point that out, with her husband, Alex Fine. And we have to think about not only Cassie's peace of mind and her constantly being bombarded with all this, but her children and their peace and how are they feeling. And the fact that is, I don't even know how old the kids are. I would have to look that up. But to look into the fact that maybe with all this trauma that she's been going through, how these kids are hearing this in the media and on the playground or in the classrooms when they're trying to get their education. And the fact of them finding out that prior to them being born, that this is what their mother was going through at the hands of that madman. So, at the end of the day, I'm glad that Cassie has spoken out. I'm glad that she is on her journey of healing and that she is working to get her mind right and her body right. And I feel like that's what she was going through when she finally cut ties with that madman, when she went and started working on her self and her self-esteem, and she was able to find the courage after years of building up her esteem and stripping away all that stuff that man did to her. And I'm sure that she's still working through that, because I'm sure that's going to be a lifetime of working out a lot of the demons and things the traumatic things that he did to her, that as she continues to progress, that caused her to find the strength to file that suit against him and get that coin, however much it was, because I don't even think we even know the amount of money that he paid her. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Y'all happy that Cassie spoke out and then she gave her thoughts on this? And I feel bad for her, because it's like, yeah, as long as this case is going to keep getting, brought up in the media, which is like it seems like an ongoing cycle, literally like all day, every day. We're hearing stuff about Diddy, all these stories. It gets a bit exhausting, and it is draining physically and mentally, which is why it's like, I can't even imagine what these people have went through. And it's just her trying to work on getting her mind and her body right. I can't imagine what she's probably dealing with right now. So unplugging from the matrix is probably the best thing for her to do right now. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Oh yeah, that is she was. And she has talked about it, how when she moved to New York, she was R-worded. So rumor has it those big bottles of baby oil were actually, yeah, they said that there was drugs and stuff in it. And that's why I said, if they confiscated the baby oil, we need to check the bottles and see what's in it. I don't believe it was lube or baby oil. There were drugs he was hiding. He is a businessman, and he was the one to go to. Yeah, exactly, because especially when you traffic in and mule in and things. Because remember, they said that Tucci that he was out here partaking in, which they found on him when they arrested him at the hotel. Probably said he was having another freak off using that Tucci, which is like the mixture of, it's the pink booger sugar. But they said coca, y'all already know what it is. If y'all haven't, definitely do your research and see what's in it. But yeah, it's like, if you're out here trafficking drugs, allegedly, I'm sure he was hiding it in the baby oil. They said he is a businessman, and if he wanted whatever your heart desired for a very hefty price, I assume. I wouldn't be surprised. Do you think Mr. Combs will end up like Jeffrey Epstein? I just don't see him making it to trial. I could have sworn I've mentioned this on the show before. If I haven't, I'll still address it. If I have, I'll still address it. But if we hear a story that Diddy ends up unalive before he goes to trial, I won't say I would be surprised, because I feel like I've said many a times, maybe I've said it in around friends or in private or whatever. But yeah, I do feel like he will be Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't be. And if he doesn't, if he actually makes it to trial and testifies, whatever the case is, I will be pleasantly surprised he made it that far. But I don't think he has much time left. But I'm just like, okay, so when's all this tea coming out about these alleged people that was on that video with the freak offs or whatever? But then I forgot how slow our judicial system moves in regards of cases. Like, y'all move at a snail's pace. I've seen, well, I'm no shame, but snails move faster than these damn trials. But I guess they want to make sure their I's is dotted and all their T's is crossed. But it's like, yeah, it may be years before Diddy actually goes to trial. Like all this, he was just arrested in September. Shit, he might not go to trial until like 2026. Same thing I was thinking about Austin Wolf. I'm like, damn, y'all keep delaying the damn trial. He might not go to trial until like all the 2026, 2027. Our judicial system does move slow because it do be taking 2, sometimes 3 years before a case actually moves forward. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about R. Kelly. So now I thought this whole situation was over and done with. I thought we was done with R. Kelly. I thought we needed to know all we needed to know about R. Kelly and the whole situation. But apparently, we're getting another documentary from Kells, but this time his daughter's a part of it. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch Surviving R. Kelly and all the other stuff when that first came out, probably because I already knew about all the stuff about R. Kelly. Like, there were certain things, I remember hearing over the years that it was like more drastic stuff. But for the most part, I feel like those of us in the know, we were always aware of the things with R. Kelly. We knew about him pissing on the girl, Sparkle's niece, all that other stuff. But we all, a lot of people looked the other way at the time until that whole Me Too Time's Up situation started to circulate. And then everybody started waking up and paying attention. Now the man in jail was in the same jail that Diddy was currently in. So in a trailer for the upcoming documentary, R. Kelly's Karma, A Daughter's Journey, Joanne Kelly shares how the convictions of her father on multiple sex crimes changed her my whole life as she opened up about their broken relationship. Say, nobody wants to be the child of a father that is out here hurting women and children, says Joanne, who's 26. In the trailer released on Sunday, September 29th, saying that he knows exactly why we can't have the relationship that we have, that we would have liked to have with him. Now, Kelly's daughter, who appears to be pregnant in the clip, gets emotional later on in the trailer as she reflects on how she used to see her father, saying that he's my everything. This is what she said of Kelly, who's 57, crying. For a long time, I didn't even want to believe that it happened. I didn't know that, even if he was a bad person, that he would do something to me. I really feel like the 1 millisecond completely just changed my whole life, she says, referring to Kelly's conviction, adding of her future child. If my son asks questions, I'm going to be as truthful as possible, and I will not be taking my son to prison to meet his grandfather. Now, Kelly's ex-wife and mother of Joanne and her siblings, so this is Drea Kelly's daughter, also makes an appearance in the trailer in a tearful clip, saying just because you're not a good husband doesn't mean you can't be a good father. And the fact that he didn't even try, this is what she says of Kelly. What he did to me, but you didn't have to do it to my damn kids. Now, Joanne's siblings, Ja Kelly and Robert Kelly Jr. also speak out in the documentary in raw emotional interviews, while the film uncovers the dark reality of living in the shadow of one of the most notorious figures in music. They said in February 2023, the disgraced R&B singer/songwriter and convicted S offender received a 20-year prison sentence on charges of child porn and enticement of minors for the S word, according to multiple reports at the time. Now, Kelly was handed the sentence as he was already serving 30 years in prison for his 2021 conviction on racketeering and sex trafficking charges based out of New York, per multiple reports, meaning he will spend a total, I was about to do the math. I said, how long he going to be in jail? 31 years? And he's 50, right? So, give or take, he ain't getting out until he in his mid-80s at this point. But yeah, he might as well die behind bars because that's a long time to be up in there. So hopefully he makes it the 31 years that he got to serve. But I feel like, okay, so it's actually going to appear on what is TVEI? I've never heard of that channel. Because they said is R. Kelly's Karma, A Daughter's Journey premieres on the TV channel. I was about to say, y'all, Tel Aviv TV? It's going to be on the TVEI network on October 11th. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll end up bootlegged on Netflix, on YouTube or something. Somebody, screen recorded and uploaded to YouTube so that way I can watch it. But I definitely want to watch this thing. I don't care. Like, to be honest, I don't care about, well, I do care. I do care about the harm that he did to other people because it's despicable. I didn't care to sit and watch it. I didn't care to hear the craziness of all the things, even though that I've heard over the years, be confirmed. I don't want to go through that. What I am interested in is hearing what the children of someone who has been painted with this scarlet letter on their head are dealing with, the aftermath, what people do, how that affects the children. And I will not be surprised if a couple of years from now, we'll get a video from King Combs, Quincy, Delilah, and the other one, the twins, all the kids Diddy got. I would not be surprised if we're going to get a documentary or whatever the case is where we're talking to the children of Diddy and what they're dealing with. And so even if the kids are innocent in this whole situation because their parent is a low down dirty dog, I've always found it relatively fascinating to be like, well, what are the children dealing with? What is it like to be the child of an R-wordist or a serial killer? That sort of thing. And how the sins of the father and the mother, depending on the gender, because I don't want to just put it all up on the men. There are women out here that do things, nasty stuff, crazy stuff to children too. Let's not forget about Miss Mary Kayla Turno. Remember how she went and turned out that little boy that she was that was her student in school and wound up having a bunch of kids with him? Went to jail and they still had a relationship. He went and married her. Had a bunch of kids. And then I think after she got out or whatever, they had their little situation, they ended up divorced. But you stuck with this lady children because she was out here laying low and spreading it wild with an underage boy. But, so looking at all of that, it always makes me interested in wanting to know what the kids and stuff have gone through. So while I said before I couldn't sit through Surviving R. Kelly and all that other mess, because I felt like I can't because of all the stuff I've known over the years. But I am relatively interested in hearing about what Drea and the kids and everybody was going through being, with R. Kelly. And I'm sure people are going to bring up stuff about Drea was there at the time when he was messing with Aaliyah and a whole bunch of other stuff. Look, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But if y'all want to bring it up, feel free. But let's just focus on the topic at hand. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all looking forward to watching this new R. Kelly documentary? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have an update on Ms. Lauryn Hill because she is clapping back at Pras Michél for basically suing her for fraud. So, Lauryn Hill, look, I already went in on her about the fact that she's unprofessional and how she think the world supposed to bow down to her when she only got one damn album. A great album. Miseducation, Lauryn Hill, don't get me wrong. It deserves all the flowers. It deserves all the accolades. It is definitely an iconic record. However, her attitude does not warrant just one album, 2+ decades of an album being the top whatever title, Billboard and Rolling Stone and all the other mainstream publications want to continue to give it. Because Lauryn Hill act like she walk on water. But she is clapping back at Pras' claims because he said that basically she a fraudster. So she's hitting back at fellow Fugees co-founder Pras Michel's blistering lawsuit accusing her of fraud and breach of contract, among other claims, over the group's abbreviated 2023 tour and canceled 2024 tour. Now, early Tuesday morning on October 1st, Pras filed a lawsuit accusing Miss Hill, because she loves being called Miss Hill, of fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of contract, accounting, refusing to permit an audit of the Fugees tour, and more. She's since responded to her former bandmate's claims in a new statement, saying some clarity and facts need to be presented. I've been silent and pushing through because I understood that Pras was under duress because of his legal battles and that this was perhaps affecting his judgment, state of mind, and character. So she basically tried to say that because of all the stuff that's going around that his mind ain't right. Girl, if that ain't gaslighting, I don't know what it is. The Miseducation rapper then addressed each alleged concern in a 7-part breakdown. Well, she had time, apparently. She ain't touring. Hill called Pras' lawsuit baseless, noting that it's false claims and unwarranted attacks. She fired back saying that the filing notably omits that he was advanced overpayment for the last tour and has failed to repay substantial loans extended by myself as an act of goodwill. She also noted that the tour in question was in commemoration with the 25th anniversary of her debut solo album, The Miseducation Lauryn Hill, and was scheduled to proceed with or without the Fugees' involvement. Well, child, it's funny how she think that if it wasn't for the Fugees, people wouldn't even know who the hell Lauryn Hill was. Because, sis, you started out with the Fugees. And then you went off and did your solo thing. Funny enough, they were all pretty much successful with, I guess, well, Pras had Ghetto Superstar. That's the only song off the top of my head I could think of. Wyclef had a big career as well. I remember there was this boy named Danny Rosado who I used to have the biggest crush on in high school. Funny enough, I remember that. He was obsessed with Wyclef and all his music. First of all, he was a little Spanish short boy with body for days. And I got to taste that. But anyway, let's continue. Enough about my childhood whorishness, and let's get back to the Lauryn Hill situation. But it just reminded me because of Wyclef. But anyway, so Pras, I remember, had Ghetto Superstar with Maya, which she did perform at when she was at the the Queens of R&B with SWV and Escape. I remember she performed because I worked that show. But anyway, so he had a couple of hits, but I don't think Pras as a whole artist had the same amount of success that Lauryn had with the Miseducation Lauryn Hill and Wyclef had with his solo albums, as well as the songs that he produced for other people. So there's that. But so yeah, on her Instagram, she said the following. So I want to share this with y'all. We already read about the state of mind and character. She said, fact 1, this baseless lawsuit by Pras is full of false claims and unwarranted attacks. It notably omits that he was advanced overpayment for the last tour and has failed to repay substantial loans extended by myself as an act of goodwill. Last year's tour was put together to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It was being planned whether the Fugees were involved or not. She said, fact 2, the tour was expanded to incorporate the Fugees because I found out that Pras was in trouble and would need money to aid his legal defense. So she's trying to say, oh, I felt sorry for you, so therefore I extended all this other stuff so that way I can help you with your legal fees. But if this is the true tea, then why did y'all not go on tour then? What happened? She said that Pras was given a $3 million advance for the tour, which he said he required to pay his legal fees. Wyclef and myself deferred our full advances to make sure he had what he needed and was able to go. I covered most of the tour expenses as the majority of the tour advance had gone to Pras. An agreement was put in place to secure the repayment of the money he was advanced. Pras has not paid back the money he was advanced and is currently in breach of his agreement. Well, with all this being said, I need Wyclef to come out and say something because now you was dragged into it. Yeah, you had your Nene moment. Now, why am I in it? Because Lauryn dragged you in the conversation. So now you got to come out here and defend yourself. Whose side you on? Is it Pras's cousin? So is it your relative or your ex-girl? Because at one point, didn't Wyclef and Lauryn Hill hunch before she went and moved on to a Marley? Fact 4, because my tour band production and setup were already happening, the Fugees said utilized the same production. I absorbed most of the expenses myself, including produced the show, put together the entire set with Wyclef's participation for the Fugees and Wyclef sets. Pras basically just had to show up and perform. Fact 5, as of the last tour, Pras thanked me for saving his life. I have the receipts. Well, sis, drop them. Because if you talking about you got receipts, we want to see it. Because first of all, if somebody's defaming my character, I want the receipts to be exposed. And I want, I'm going to put it out there. Like, I'm not going to sit up in here and gaslight and threaten, well, you better take this back. Otherwise, I'm revealing something. Since you're going to drag me through the mud with a lawsuit, the gloves is off. So I hate when people throw the subs and says that, oh, I have receipts, but you're not going to provide it. So now fact number 6, she said, I'm not in the business of kicking anyone, especially when they're down, which is why I haven't responded to date. It is absolutely disheartening to see Pras in this position, my bandmate and someone I considered a friend, but this leads us to fact 7, which probably should have been fact number 1. And I'll get to fact 7 in a second, but says you don't want to kick nobody when they're down, but here you are on Instagram in a carousel giving us a bunch of damn facts. Like this is the miseducation of Lauryn Hill part 2. We ain't get enough from 25 plus years ago. So now fact number 7, she said, I was not in Pras' life when he decided to make the unfortunate decision that led to his current legal troubles. I did not advise that he make that decision, and therefore I'm in no way responsible for his decision and its consequences. Though I have taken it upon myself to help, despite his attacks, I'm still compassionate and hope things work out for him. Well, we hope things work out for him too. Child, I cannot with y'all. Y'all can't be serious in the comments. So, and she also said she'll have more to say. But people in the comments, somebody, it's funny how money changes situation, miscommunication leads to complication. We don't need y'all to do the Lost Ones lyrics. Like, can y'all be serious? Then somebody else goes, how can you win when you ain't right with it? Really? Like, come on with the with the jokes from her music. Another person said, oh, Zion D. Marley. Isn't that Lauren's son? The firstborn? It said, is it wrong to love my enemies? I've only been backstabbed by friends of me. Hashtag truth must prevail. Another person said, one thing is for sure and 2 things are always certain is that Miss Hill will always speak her truth. And then another person said, I respect this response. Nothing spiteful, just outlining the facts. And I'm blasting, it can all be so simple, but you rather make it hard right now. Well, look, somebody said Pras was never needed. Just saying. And some people feel like, you know what, she's a woman with integrity, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So it looked like a lot of people are Team Lauryn on this. And look, I don't know who to believe at this point. There's Lauren's side, there's his side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth, as they always say. So I feel like if this situation says, if Pras is coming out with all these accusations against you and filing charges and saying you defamed him and you're a fraud and all this other stuff, you're gonna have to defend you'll have your day in court where you're gonna have to defend yourself from what he said. And if you're not gonna provide us with the receipts through Instagram in your little carousel, or on social media, save that, save your little checkmate moment, your draw 4, your wild card, whatever you want to call it. Save it for your day in court. And then he'll have the OU coin. So I say all this to say, whose side are y'all on? Are you team Lauryn or your team? Let me stop with the teams. This ain't RuPaul's Drag Race. We got to put people in teams to vote. But I say all this to say, who do you believe? Do you believe Lauryn? Do you believe Pras? Or do you not give a damn? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about my girl, Wendy Williams. How you doing? So Wendy's back in the news again, and I was doing good. I was like, yay, we ain't been speaking about Wendy for a minute. Just as well, because she out here living her best life and working on her aphasia and dementia and all that other stuff. She been going through it, but she can't seem to get rid of that no good ass ex-husband Kelvin. He out here just keep her name out his mouth and still trying to get his claws, his little nasty, dirty bed nail claws on her coin. So her ex-husband Kelvin Hunter is attempting to overturn their divorce. He's claiming that the former talk show host hid $48 million from him in their divorce settlement. So, sir, do you have proof of this? Like, you sitting out here talking about that there's no, that she's stealing or she hid money from you, which I guess was always the situation because, he tried to get it one way by, with the whole thing of him producing the Wendy Williams show and all this other stuff and was trying to get money out of that. They were like, well, you signed a contract that if she is no longer employed with Deborah Mercury and doing the show and everything, that you cannot accumulate any more coin from her at this time. And then after y'all divorce, whatever, you got whatever it was that you're supposed to get and keep it moving. But since Kelvin ain't worked, since he was out here grifting off of Wendy Williams, laying low and spreading wide with that mistress and had a whole baby with her, while married to Wendy and being her manager. And you were sitting there, had a whole new house. You had all these cars. You tricking off of her, living a whole double life, which always has me wonder, did you really love that lady? So the TV personality who's 60, who recently broke her silence on the Diddy sex trafficking investigation. And this is why I said, sis, you shouldn't have said nothing about that. Because now, what you allegedly saying, what you're saying, now Kelvin gonna come out and say, oh, well, so she is of sound mind. She don't need a Sabrina, you know, the guardian. She don't need her to defend her in court and all this other stuff. She's clearly of sound mind. So why don't she come in and, you know, she can show up in court and fight me? So Kevin's request to the court comes after Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, asked that Hunter pay back $112,000 in overpaid alimony earlier this year in April. So, you know, they were married in 1999 and their divorce is finalized in 2020 of January. So Williams filed for divorce of Hunter in 2019 after citing irreconcilable differences, and at the time, her guardian submitted a Wells Fargo portfolio that alleged her total holdings were around $7.3 million. However, the star's close friend Regina Shell turned in an affidavit that alleged as of 2022, Williams had $55 million in her accounts. Yeah, I always heard she had more than $7.5 million. Now, due to the affidavit, Kelvin now claims that Wendy fraudulently concealed the additional $48 million in their divorce. However, the response to Hunter's demand that the divorce be overturned, Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, claimed that Kelvin has been aware of all the star's accounts. So I cannot address what Regina thinks she saw or heard, what a third person thinks she heard, or what a third person may or may not have reported to Regina, Morrissey stated per the U.S. Sun. Now, in his papers, Kelvin affirmatively states that Wendy showed Regina her financial statements. Well, were you there? Did you witness Wendy showing anybody her financial receipts? So Sabrina continued, Kelvin was not there and has no personal knowledge of whether or not this interaction occurred. She also claimed that at the time of the former couple's divorce proceedings, Hunter was fully satisfied and understood the process and had consulted with professionals to be fully aware of the assets in his rights in regard to such assets. Morrissey then added that Wendy's ex-husband has absolutely no case to reopen the divorce proceeding. Now, Regina turned to in an affidavit over the summer where she alleged that she saw Wendy's Wells Fargo's bank statements, according to the U.S. Sun. The TV personality's best friend also claimed that in July of 2022 that she had resided with the star. During the time, she claimed Williams had expressed her desire to look into additional financial endeavors for her estate, as well as specifically a possible change with her current financial institution. She also shared that the documents of Wells Fargo showing a cumulative balance of nearly $55 million. Later that same year in December, Regina claimed that she had been invited to a meeting at Bank of America with Wendy. Afterwards, she headed to the courthouse in the same vehicle as the TV host and her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey. However, Wendy's publicist soon alleged to overhearing a conversation where Morrissey claimed there is no money in Wendy's accounts. Regina turned in the affidavit in regards to Williams and Hunter's divorce proceedings. Well, somebody is doing some shadiness with her damn money. And we need to find out where that coin is, because I just don't understand how Wendy does not have access to her money. Like, whether she's going through her mental, whatever the case is, she should have access to her money. She should be able to spend it whichever way she likes. The same way y'all be going in on Britney, free Britney and all this other stuff. Britney grown. She's be able to spend her money however she pleases. Same thing with Wendy. Where did all her money go? And why is Wells Fargo involved to the point where she can't have access to her money? Child, I'm kind of gagging at this because my bank is Wells Fargo, so I don't want y'all trying to not have me have access to my money. I may need to start pulling my damn coins out and go to another bank. What bank is good? Oh, well, I used to be on to Citibank. Maybe I need to go back to Citibank. Now, the judge gave Sabrina 21 days to prove that she has authority to rep Wendy and the state of New Jersey, per the U.S. Sun. In court documents, Hunter and Morrissey representing Williams is akin to practicing law without a license, as she is neither a barred attorney nor a guardian appointed by a New Jersey court. Well, if she's not a guardian appointed by a New Jersey court, where the hell would she come from? Because it seemed like Sabrina has always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I've never really like, well, quiet as it's kept, I don't like neither one of you. I ain't like how Sabrina been moving in this whole situation, and I damn sure don't like on the strength of Wendy Williams. And the fact that she is a mentor in my head. Now, I ain't never liked Kelvin. And I know somebody who interacted with her with him back in the day, back when she did her Dons and Divas thing. So I never particularly cared for Kelvin and how he moved. And the funny thing is, I guess maybe because we both from Brownsville, Brooklyn, so I know that type. So Wendy and Kelvin began dating in 1994 before saying I do in 1999. The pair welcomed their son, Kevin Hunter Jr., Kevin Hunter. We call Kelvin for a reason, but he's Kevin Hunter Jr., who was 24 in August of 2000. Now, despite not having a prior television experience, Hunter became his wife's manager and production partner early in their relationship, eventually helping her launch a talk show for which he served as an EP. Well, we know what that was, because with the type of man that he was, yeah, he didn't have experience, but because of Wendy and all that other stuff, I felt like he's a provider of protection for her in a lot of ways, because some of the stuff that Wendy was saying out in these streets about certain celebrities, particularly a lot of people in hip hop spaces, I feel like Kevin was sort of that bodyguard figure. As big as he is, he could protect her in a lot of situations. Do I think there was some genuine love there? I think it might have been on her end. I think he got caught up in, the lavish lifestyle and the spotlight and the celebrity dumb and all that other stuff, that his ego got the best of it. And a lot of these, when you get a lot of these bum ass men, where you got to try to make yourself small to make them feel good about themselves. But then it's like, well, did you actually genuinely care about her in the beginning? Like, he reminds me of Offset, like very much community dick tease. That's basically what Kelvin gives me. He gives me very much like Offset with Cardi B. Like, stop trying to dim your light, or, your self-esteem gets all screwed up because you think this man gonna love you or you could change him. Because Wendy couldn't change him. So, I'm glad that she's divorced from him. I'm going to definitely keep an eye on this case as it develops. They also said that Hunter demanded that the former talk show host pay him 23 months in back payments for spousal support from their divorce, because Morrissey demanded her that Kelvin pay back a total of $112,500 in alimony that was overpaid over the course of 3 months. And then they said that Team Williams contend that Hunter no longer met the criteria outlined in the agreement and thus needs to repay the money overpaid to him that he received along with accrued interest. Saying, I believe this was largely the result of the fact that the payments have been put on an auto pay function within her account. Yeah, because sometimes y'all definitely got to watch out for that auto pay. It's funny because that's how I do a lot of my bills too. Like, just take the money, just go. I ain't got time. But I get the alerts. Trust and believe, I'll be paying attention to everything that come out of my account. Like, I ain't stupid in that way. One of my least favorite parts of math is subtraction, because y'all always taking coin. That's what I hate about being an adult, adulting, having to pay bills between your rent, streaming services, food, all the transportation, all that stuff, all that adds up. I want to go back to being a little kid. Can I go back in time? And I have to be out in these streets working. It's hard out here in these good old streets. But anyway, so they also said that Morrissey is seeking to impose a gag order on Hunter that would prevent him from speaking out about the case. Well, I do agree with that. Y'all definitely need to put a gag on him, because he keep coming out with all these allegations about Wendy and her money situation. So, but what's also going on with her Hunter Foundation? Because they have a substance abuse hotline in 2019. So I don't know what's been going on with that. With Wendy and her ailments, the lymphedema, the frontal temporal dementia, and the aphasia, and all the other stuff going on. Like, she's got a lot of things, Graves' disease. She got where the thing where her eye pops out and all that other stuff. Like, it's just a lot going on with her. So I'm wishing Wendy well. Kelvin, you ain't nothing but a POS. And I hope you don't get a damn dime. You need to get up off your ass. No, I'm a channel Monique. Go down to the welfare or get your little license. I forget what's the license they call it. You can go out and drive the trucks. Go out and figure out what you need to do to get your coin. Them days that you got to, eat off of Wendy, those days is gone. She is where she is in her life and she's dealing with her own stuff. You need to get off your behind and you need to figure out how you're going to take care of yourself. The days are gone when you mess up that gravy train. So figure out how you're going to get your coin, because quiet as it's kept, you ain't worked or you ain't been able to manage or develop or do anything for anybody post your divorce. And even when you were married to Wendy, when you were spending all that money on Sharina and her little pipe dreams that never seemed to have gone anywhere, the vegan pancake business and all these other little things that she was doing and the things you was trying to come up with, they ain't go nowhere because, God don't like ugly. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this whole Wendy situation, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. You said, I was about to say, I was like, bitch, what you told me? I'm about to cut you out. I was like, wait a minute, I do have a job. Yes, get a job. He definitely needs to go out and get a damn job. But I don't understand. It's like, you still out here trying to fight to get Wendy money. But in the meantime, what's going on with your other bills? What's going on with all the bills that you got piling up? Like, I don't think he's going to ever get access to her money. So you're just wasting your time. But like I said, I will definitely keep my eyes on the stories that develops. I'm about to put my phone on silent because I keep getting damn emails and I'm working. Oh, yeah. This is the Garth Brooks story, child. Well, guess what? I'm not getting into that right now. I need to do a little more research on it, and we're going to bring it up on the show tomorrow. Because like I said, we're not going to sit up in here and only just talk about Diddy and black folk. And we're not only going to talk about Diddy. We're not only going to talk about Chris Brown. We're not only going to talk about R. Kelly. We're going to lump the white folks in this too. So I told you the music, the day of reckoning is coming for the music business. And now they talking about Garth Brooks. And I used to like Garth Brooks. Who is he married to? Is it Trisha Yearwood? That man had you know what? There's one thing I will say about some men that I love, those cowboy types. The tight jeans that y'all be wearing, and that just be hugging y'all cheeks. I be like, ooh. And especially yesterday, I was working this show. His name is Karin Leon, or Karen Leon, if you want to be American about it. Is a Mexican singer. And then the type of guys that was coming in with the cowboy hats on and the shirts open down to the chest with the tattoos and the tight jeans giving very much Texas, Mexicans. I was like, ooh, I'm about to steal some of y'all men's up in here tonight. But I got to be professional. Anyway, let's get back to the show. And let's get a little political. Let's get political. Let it go. I want to get political. Let's get political. But anyway, that's my new political theme song. Shout out to Willem, because that's where I got that from. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about this whole Ana Navarro, Melania Trump situation. Now, I ain't seen the View today, but I heard that they talked about it. So I'm going to watch it later when I get around to it. First of all, there's a lot of things I got to watch. Salem's Lot came out today. So I got to check that out. And then I got to upload my thing for the show in regards of the Stephen King thing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We got to talk about this thing. So yeah, so apparently Melania Trump, I don't know if her book is out already. I could care less. I don't want to read it. I don't care nothing about what that grifter, another one, has to say in regards to anything. But yeah, she recently gave her thoughts on abortion rights. And there's people out here who I guess is gullible and eating it up and making excuses. But there's some people, and rightfully so, like Ana Navarro, who's side-eyeing what she's saying. And I went Anna on this. So Ana Navarro, co-host of The View, slammed Melania Trump's as it came out that her upcoming memoir passionately defends women's rights to abortion, in direct contrast with the conservative stance on her grifting flip-flopping husband, President Donald Trump. Well, former president, because he is not the president, which is why I don't it gets irritating to me that y'all continue to call him Mr. President. He's not the president. He's a former president. And it also irritates me the fact that everybody's about, oh yeah, we need to bring back the country. Blah, blah, blah. Y'all had him as the president before. Y'all forgot? Prior to Biden, he was the president for 4 years. And what did we get? But a bunch of damn debt and mess. Check the receipts. It's out there. Now, according to The Guardian, who have obtained a copy of her book, Melania, the 54-year-old, child, if I pull up this picture, she look older than 54, but we just going to wait for a second before I pull that one up. Claimed that she has carried this belief for her entire adult life, which is in stark contrast to views on abortion held by her husband, former President Donald Trump, who is the current Republican nominee. Posting a screenshot of an online article about it on her Instagram, Anna, who's 52, captured the image, well, Melania coming out as strongly pro-choice a month before the election was not on my bingo card. Now, Mr. Maybelline himself, J.D. Vance, tried to soften his stance and come out as a compassionate, come at us all compassionate, I should say, during the debate. And now this, folks don't fall for it. They know they have a gender gap with women and are trying to have it both ways. The View hosts continue, actions speak louder than words. We already know what Trump did. He appointed 3 uber-conservative justices that turned over Roe v. Wade. Yeah, they overturned it, and people seem to have forgotten that. And didn't Trump just recently go out there and say, oh, that was one of his biggest accomplishments during his term, that he stopped abortion. This was what he said, literally out of his mouth. You can Google it. It's there. I'm sure the video and everything, it ain't just written. It came out of his mouth. He says a lot of things. I think he says things so much he don't realize the half the shit he says. So I do agree that I'm not buying it. And they said Trump has shown us that he will capitulate to the right. He's shown us who he is the first time. Believe him. And that's what it is that she does not I'm not buying what she's saying. I do feel like she threw that in there because it's a month, the timing of the book, which I'm sure is probably like a bunch of nothing written in there. So I wouldn't even waste my time or breath or strain reading what she wrote in that book in her voice. Can you imagine listening to the audible version of her sounding like Vampirella? With that Slovenian accent. So Anna's followers were quick to comment on the post as one person fumed she doesn't care, just trying to fool people into voting for her husband so she could stay relevant and continue to grift and ruin the damn garden at the White House. Don't forget about that. And the Christmas, when they had to decorate for Christmas. A second person wrote, like her husband, I don't believe one word that comes out of her mouth. And a third Instagram user claims it's a game. None of them are pro-choice. They are just trying to play their last cards. And that's what people need to realize is that these people do not care about people. They feed into your thing. And then I remember the other day when I posted the article on Zachary Levi endorsing Trump, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't support someone who supports Donald Trump. And people were and there was somebody who actually watches the show that was like, oh, I love your commentary on, entertainment and all this other stuff. But I was disappointed in the fact that you said that. And to me, I feel like this is a post that summed it up because I saw this earlier on someone's page and I had to repost it. So the post says, I used to think they believed his lies. That's not it. And we're talking about Trump here. They know he's lying and they don't care. He hates who they hate, and that is enough. So to me, I feel like at this point, if you actually care about women, if you care about people of color, any person of color, I'm not just talking about black folks, I'm talking about Latinos, I'm talking about Asians, I'm talking about Palestinians, I'm talking about, any person who does not identify as just white male. Because that's all that they care about, and that's their overall demographic. There's a huge gap with everybody else, which I don't understand why Latinos and blacks are even trying to support a man who would even rent you a space in Trump Tower. He would deny you the ability to even rent an apartment in one of his buildings. So I just don't understand how black people continue to windmill some, not all, for this man. So when he's saying all this, like, yeah, when they were calling women cat ladies and all this other stuff, so y'all really believe that he cares about women? He lost that vote, and to me, it's just like y'all don't even care about these people. But now, a month away, you're basically wanting to try to pull people at the last minute and thinking, oh yeah, we could use Melania as a way to reach across the aisle to women. These women ain't reading her book unless your name is Megyn Kelly or Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you one of those types, yeah, they definitely gonna read her book. But the average woman is not going to sit about here and want to hear from the male or the whore and what she has to say on anything, particularly women's reproductive rights, especially when she's married to a man who was charged with sexually assaulting other women, including E. Jean Carroll. Let's not forget about her. But the thing that I found interesting, because I want to tie all this up, is that yes, the ladies of The View did talk about it today. I do have what they said, so shout out to Entertainment Weekly, because I'm going to travel over there for a second and pull up what they said. So they said Sarah Haynes basically said, I do think this could hit some single issue voters, assuming that Melania was in fact speaking about abortion rights in the clip. Joy Behar pushed back, however, stressing that she thinks the Republican Party put her up to this and calling the clip a big scam and a lie to court attention and votes in the November presidential election. That part I agree. I was like, girl, now Sarah Haynes, you and I are both Virgos. You cannot be this damn cynical and or optimistic and believe that this is out of the kindness of her heart, what she's saying. I'm with Joy more than anything. And I don't like agreeing with Joy because Joy would be too much of a hardcore leaning Democrat and a lot of stuff she says. So she irritates me sometimes. But this is the time I agree with you. Now, Liz Farrah Griffin, a former communications team member in the Trump White House, speculated that Vice President Kamala Harris's team would use Melania's video in campaign ads, saying this doesn't put her out of step with all modern Republican first ladies, she said, adding that in the Trump era, any candidate's spouse promoting such a view could be a career ender for her husband. So Sunny said this. She said, I think she hates him. Well, we've seen the look on her face. We know Melania don't like that man. Like we said many a times, we don't think that Melania likes, you know, her own damn husband, but she put up with him because what else she gonna do? Where else she gonna go? She probably waiting for the day to come when Kamala wins and he ends up in jail, and then she get to finally live as a free woman. So they said, well, she said, I think she hates him. I really think this is her way of undercutting his bid for the presidency because then she doesn't have to deal with him anymore. Now, I will say this: if she is sincere with this whole situation and saying that yes, she does believe in the woman's right to choose, then kudos to her for taking that stance and basically cutting across the line and being like, you know what, I'm not in lockstep with my husband on a lot of his beliefs or whatever, and she's trying to find a way to sabotage him because word on the curb was she hated being the first lady. She doesn't really want to partake in any of the things that's going on with him, and maybe in so many cases she's at a place where she doesn't want to, look, when he's been out here campaigning, we haven't seen her. We haven't heard from her. She wasn't really supporting him. And then when it came down to the RNC, what was it, the last day she came out, and it looked like she didn't want to be there. And we've caught her many a time where she'll put on that smile and then she'll look like this afterwards in this picture when she think people ain't looking. So I do think like she wakes up every morning with a look of disgust on her face that she has that old thing breathing down her neck when it comes to being married to Donald Trump. But sis, look, that doesn't mean I'm gonna fully let you off the hook. You made your bed, and you got a lie in it dealing with him. And I wouldn't be surprised if in Mar-a-Lago, y'all got separate bedrooms. And her full commitment is to Barron. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all actually agreeing with Melania on the fact that she is probably undercutting her husband and is letting you know what her staunch support is for women having the right to choose, when of course when we get Project 2025 in place, it's not only going to affect women being able to have abortions worldwide, well, around the United States, globally, in our own country, I should say, not globally, but just whatever's happening here. But then there's other things that's going to be affecting us as well. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, I have plenty of comments. He said, not you trying to break homes. Wouldn't be the first time. I'm sure I've unwillingly or unknowingly have slept with a married man or two. He said, wouldn't be surprised if Wendy returned to Hunterville. She better not. You talking about like getting back with him? If my memory serves, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood long denied rumors that they were having an affair while he was married, only to end up married to each other. Ooh. So if he out here being a philanderer and was out here cheating, well, they both was cheating, then the SA stuff, you know, we definitely have to pay attention to that. So like I said, I will definitely bring that story to the show tomorrow, and we'll be talking about it. Exactly, like who was she fooling? I still laugh when during the pink pussy hat movement, one of the prosecutors held a sign saying "Free Melania." Like, girl, she knew what she signed up for, but maybe she do need to be freed. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, when you a victim of trafficking allegedly across, you know, coming into the country. Well, I don't know. Did she come into the country illegally? But I'm sure Trump pulled a couple of strings to get her up in here and her whole family or whatever. But you do know what you signed up for. Anytime you could have just been like, I'm filing for divorce, but she chooses to stay. And I still ain't reading that book. I could care less, but it is interesting to bring up the whole thing about the abortion thing. I do think that's relatively interesting. She came out and said that, but I do kind of side eye things like, okay, so what's your real angle in this whole situation? Yeah, she ain't, well, that last part is up for debate. I still haven't forgotten what she said that with her birtherism BS. I'm side-eyeing her. Well, you know, there's a lot of people out here that, you know, once they get in the country, they want the door to close right behind them. They want that border closed because they don't want nobody else to get in. But I'm like, but you came in the same damn way. Why? Well, because you got in through the back door and now you want to close. Now you don't want nobody else to get in. I can't stand people like that get selfish in that way, that come to people countries or whatever, don't go through the proper channels, but then they be the main ones talking about, yeah, we need to work on that border. We need to close it because we don't want them people from the country I was living in to get in. It's the self-hatred for me. Hello, she said this because Trump can't say it without losing support. I mean, it could be that too. It could be that, like I said, he's probably using her for that, and then probably, and also in a way that they're trying to lure those conservative women or women who agree with abortion. Also, I mean, who feel that they should have the right to choose, which a woman should. It's their body. If you don't want, if you're not for abortion, then don't have one. That's the way I look at it. If you don't believe in gay marriage, don't get married to someone of the same gender. If it ain't hurting you, why does it bother you? Or if it don't apply, let it fly, as I like to say. Okay, so all right, so we're finally gonna lighten up the load. We had a lot of heavy topics earlier, but let's get into some music news. Let's talk about Beyonce. And the fact that since we were speaking about country, I mean, we definitely gonna be talking about country tomorrow. This ain't Texas, but we're gonna talk about, you know, like the whole Garth Brooks thing. But anyway, let's talk about Luke Bryan from American Idol, who is literally giving his thoughts on why he feels that Beyonce was snubbed at, you know, in the country music categories. Because, you know, Dolly Parton came out and spoke out. And now Luke Bryan saying what he said. Now, if Tina Knowles come out in the next couple of hours and say something, but then also try to come up with an excuse that her damn Twitter or somebody was hacked, I'm gonna give you the side eye. It's like, sis, stop talking. She's trying to get these awards, especially with the Grammys. But we're going to talk about the Grammy thing after this. So it says, country music singer Luke Bryan has shared his thoughts on Beyonce Cowboy Carter being shut out of the nominations in the 2024 Country Music Association Awards, saying everybody loved that Beyonce made a country album. Nobody's mad about it. But where things get a little tricky, if you're going to make country albums, come into our world and be country with us a little bit. This is what he said on Sirius XM's Andy Cohen Live on Monday. So Beyonce can do exactly what she wants to. She's probably the biggest star in music, he went on. But come to an award show and high-five us and have fun and get in the family too. And I'm not saying she didn't do that, but country music is a lot about family. Now, that is kind of true because I worked enough country music events and shows where it does feel like it's more of a family-oriented situation. But I'm of two minds on this, but I'm going to just continue on what he had to say. Now, Brian 48 also said, I'm all for everybody coming in and making country albums and all that. But just by declaring that, just because she made one, just because I baked one, I don't get any nominations. The American Idol judge also referenced the pop star's fans, known as the Beehive, for critiquing her Country Music Association snub. So, yeah, you know, the Beehive was swarming when that whole situation came out, saying Beyonce has a lot of fans and they have Beyonce has a lot of fans out there that have her back. This is what he noted. And if she doesn't get something they want, man, they come at you, as fans should do. The Drunken Youth singer isn't the first to address Beyonce's lack of CMA nominations. Last month, Dolly Parton, who notably featured on Cowboy Carter, twice, I might add, defended the association's voting committee during an interview with Variety, saying there's so many wonderful country artists that they probably thought, well, we can't really leave out some of the ones that spent their whole life doing that. But it was a wonderful album. She could be very, very proud of, and I think everybody in country music welcomed her and thought that that was good. She continued by saying, so I don't think it was a matter of shutting out, like doing that on purpose. I think it was more of what the country charts and the country artists were doing that do that all the time, not just a specialty album. So there was that. Now, I want to address what everybody was saying, because I feel like maybe we could be of two minds in this whole situation. One, I agree to an extent with what Luke had to say. He said that it's more family oriented, that if you're going to do a country record, that yes, you have to come out, you gotta mingle with the people, you gotta kiss babies, you gotta shake hands, you gotta do all that stuff. Same thing I was telling y'all about the Grammys. Now, if you be wanting these Grammys, y'all can't just go and submit your stuff and just expect that somebody's just gonna give you a Grammy. That's not how it works. It's politics too. So she need to get up in there in politics. But lately, Beyonce been acting like I'm too good to just go up in certain places and do certain things and try to assert myself in these situations. Now, on the other side, I can totally understand why she could be a little hesitant, because let's remember and let's go back a little bit when she performed with the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. And the amount of vitriol and hatred and racism that she got online because she basically got up there with the chicks and was singing the country songs. And people felt, oh, who this Black B or whatever. I'm just, me, I just like to give it to you straight. Who she thinks she is coming up in here and infiltrating our state. Y'all know the criticisms. So I could definitely see why she would be a little hesitant in wanting to participate into a situation when she got burned before. But that was then. And I guess people need to realize, if you want to break barriers, if you want to challenge the status quo, if you want to be the sacrificial lamb and be the change you want to see in the world, sometimes you got to be on the front lines and take them licks and take them hits and have that strength and that wherewithal to be like, yeah, I'm going to walk up in your room and what? That's the way you have to come up in there. She got to go back to Sasha Fierce and bring her back and have that confidence to be able to go in them country spaces and, yeah, do what you need to do to get people to pay attention to your album. Now, some people feel like it wasn't country enough. It's not a real country album. And she even said it herself. This ain't a country album. This is a Beyonce album. There is country songs on it. There's country elements on it. But here's the gag. If y'all really want to go there and start nitpicking, there's a lot of country artists that don't do strict country in the type of music that they do. Particularly if you listen to people like Post Malone and Jelly Roll, they be mixing all kinds of different genres in their music. If you listen to a lot of these country artists, they mix genres. So we're not only going to just nitpick, but I feel like because Beyonce who she is, they're going to say that, or they're going to go in on her. So I can definitely agree, like, yeah, on one side, I do agree that a lot of it is that, yeah, she is the biggest star in music, but yeah, it's more family. You got to get in the pocket. You got to come out. You got to mingle with the country music community. So that way they're like, oh, so she came to our event, she talked, she mingled, she did all these other things. Now I'm going to pay attention and listen to her music. It's the same thing I be telling y'all, like I said before, about the Grammys. When you go to these Grammy events, if you're going to submit your music, you got to be in those rooms and you got to play the politics. You got to kiss babies. You got to shake the hands. You got to converse with the people. And you have to do what needs to be done if you want to get people to pay attention to your music. You can't just be thinking, oh, I'm Beyonce, so now I'm going to submit my stuff, and y'all just going to give me an award. That's not how the world works. Like, people don't owe you anything. And like I said before, I feel like the most important thing about this whole situation of Beyonce bringing up the history of country music and letting people know that Black people contributed a lot to the country music genre. And it's not just that, it's rock and roll, it's house music, it's so many different genres. Black people are the foundation of a lot of music. I've always said all drums lead to Africa. So when it comes down to all of that, it's like, yeah, we got the fact that she edutained her fan base and edutained a lot of people and also created this whole debate between people to basically get up there and be like, you know what? I listened to the album, but it also opened my eyes to this history of music and Black contribution to country music that I didn't know about. So to me, even if she was snubbed by all these little country people and they feeling the way they feel, let them feel how they feel. An award don't necessarily change the narrative of a situation. Yeah, you get to have bragging rights, but okay, these awards, what's that got to do with the price of tea in China? What's that going to do with me years from now, decades from now? Okay, I can sit and brag and say I got like 100 Grammys or whatever the case is, and I've beat people's numbers in regards to that. But at the end of the day, as long as I've created a body of work that can stand the test of time and people could be proud of, and it actually open up this conversation about the history of Black people's contributions to country music, and also opens the doors for more Black artists who want to play in that country music space to be able to get the awards that Beyonce was never able to get, but then that, all these other people, the Shabuzis, whoever, can walk away with them awards, then so be it. And that's why I feel like I'm at on that whole situation. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all agree with Luke Bryan on what he had to say about Beyonce's country music snub, as well as what Dolly Parton had to say on the situation, which I brought up? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Onyx says this is from a tweet. Keith Urban is from Australia, and y'all basically made him the face of the genre, but the girl from Houston needs to prove that she's part of your world. Absolutely. That's a good point. It's the fact that y'all will sit and accept anybody and everybody, and that's okay. Post Malone's another one. Post Malone was doing hip-hop, right? And nobody, and he couldn't hack it there. But now all of a sudden, he jumps into country music and he's welcomed with open arms. And I'm not shading Post Malone because I met him the other day at the Jelly Roll concert, working it. So I'm not bothered by the fact that he's included. But if we're going to be fair, we need to be fair and not just be hypocrites in certain things. Because I do agree with that. It's like Keith Urban's not even American, but because I guess he's white and he fits the profile, y'all welcome him in the situation. Same thing with Shania Twain. Shania Twain is Canadian, but had one of the biggest damn country music albums up and Come On Over and all them other albums back in the day. But it's okay for the Canadians and the Australians, but not okay for the actual Black girl from Texas. Make that make sense. So they also said Luke needs to sit down, shut up, not sit down, shut up. And remember that Beyonce album was a middle finger after being rejected by the same country family he speaks of. They don't accept anybody who ain't Caucasian. And that's exactly right. And I hope I put all that in what I had to say. That's why I said I'm of two minds. Like, I do understand, like, if we want to talk industry talk, yes, you got to do the political stuff. You got to show up to the events. You got to kiss the babies. You got to shake the hands. You got to kiki with the people in the room, your peers, and all that other stuff. Same as you do with the Grammys. But we're not going to sit up here and forget when she performed with the Chicks back in the day at the same damn event, the CMAs, I believe, how y'all threw shade at her. And she was hit with all the racist vitriol and stuff. Even if you ain't said the quiet part out loud, we can read between the lines. So one thing about people of color, we've been trained to know a sub when we see or hear one. So it says, Ezra says, Luke Bryan's wording seems a little off. Our world and the talk of welcoming her in like she an outsider, which is contrary to the point of the album, as you say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does sound like that. It's like, oh yeah, you got to come into our world. We're a family. Like, it's like, does feel a little colonizer-ish. We're like, oh yeah, we need to invite you to the cookout. But maybe Black folks, y'all need to stop inviting all these damn white people to the cookout because y'all be giving away too many of them damn invitations freely. Just make them work a little hard for it. Just like, they try to make us work hard to be invited for the cookout. So stop inviting the Justins, Bieber, and Timberlake, and all these other people. I think Post Malone was trying to get invited to that cookout, but he just, he just couldn't get in. Him and Machine Gun Kelly, two that was trying to get up in there, but couldn't hack it. Yeah, while it sucks how this award shows be playing some of these artists who clearly show great potential. Artists like Beyonce and those in her caliber don't need them. Their body of work, power, and influence speaks for itself. Absolutely. And that's why I keep saying, y'all need to stop focusing so much on these awards and getting so mad on a a heavy piece of equipment. I was like, okay, it's cute. It can go on my mantle with all my other Grammys and all these other award shows. But as long as I've created a body of work that stands the test of time, that basically tells a story that opens people who weren't really familiar with the genre of country music, the history of it, and how much Black people have contributed to country music, even if you don't like the album, which I will say, I'm not a country music fan. I don't particularly care for Cowboy Carter. I grew up on listening to country music because, like I said, when I was a kid, my mother would put it on a certain station and I was hearing all the different genres of music. I was listening to, Crystal Gale. I was listening to the Beatles. So even though that's not particularly country, it's like the rock and the country and all these different genres of music. So I would listen to Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and Chris Christopherson and all these other country music stars. And of course, I live for Shania Twain, and that's because she threw a little pop up in that country music. That's why I was listening to her, because she was catchy. All the other stuff, like if it was straight up country, And remember back in the day when she came out with Up and she had so many different versions of the album, I only listened to the pop version. I didn't listen to the rock, I didn't listen to the stripped down, the country one. Like I went straight for the pop one because that's what I like. And I've been a fan of Mutt Lange's sound. So, and he's produced for a lot of people. He's produced not only for country artists, but rock artists as well. So that's what got me caught up in that whole, like, I'm aware of the music, but that's not my favorite genre of music to listen to. So as long as people get educated on the music, and if it inspires a young Black child, male or female, to pick up a guitar and start learning more about country music and becoming, and Beyonce has opened that door for many of the younger people to come up and play in that space and infiltrate that space and eventually get respected within the country music space, then she did her job. And that to me is more important. So Sailor says, but as fellow Earth sign, I get it. You want to be acknowledged and rewarded for the hard work you put in your craft. Yeah, exactly. Because I feel the same way too. Trust and believe, I definitely want to be rewarded and compensated and respected for the amount of work I do. And it does hurt and it does sting when people don't accept or acknowledge, or not even accept, fuck your acceptance, but don't acknowledge and respect the fact of what I do. But I can't allow that. It could sting me for a second, but I can't let that fully define my character, because then that's the ego talking. Look at me being all mature. Anyway, so let's go from one Beyonce story to another. And the latest is that she submitted, while the country music people are not giving her flowers, she's hoping the Grammy committee is going to actually do what the country music people haven't done. And the word on the street is she has submitted Cowboy Carter for the country music category. It says Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album may not have wrangled much award season glory yet, but she could be gearing up for Grammy Showdown. Rumor has it that the album's been submitted for a major category at next year's ceremony. The Texas Hold'em singer, who's 43, submitted her album in the genre following the release of her country album earlier this year, sources told the Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday. So if it's from the Hollywood Reporter, Chad, this is pretty legit, because that's one of the trades of the major, industry trades. So Beyonce had previously submitted her 2016 track Daddy Lessons from her hit album Lemonade for contention in country categories, but it was not nominated. And this, of course, was back in the day we was talking about she was singing that song with the chicks. The submission comes after the superstar musical artist did not receive any nominations for the CMA Awards and also went winless amid 20 nominations at the People's Choice Country Awards last week. Beyonce, who has won 32 Grammy Awards, over 88 career nominations, has never received a country nomination. She showed her crossover appeal in 2017 when Lemonade was nominated for honors in 4 genres: rock, rap, R&B, and pop. Well, it had all those elements on there. The Recording Academy utilizes the services of around 350 volunteer music industry experts to lend their opinions on how content should be classified. THR reported, with complications coming at times when material is reflective of multiple genres. Now, last year, industry experts were divided over how her album Renaissance would be classified, ultimately putting it in the dance category where it emerged victorious. Well, duh. First of all, Lemonade. Renaissance was a dance record. I mean, it had other genres of music on there, but if you look at the foundation, the overall foundation of Renaissance, it is a dance album. So therefore, it was going to clean up in the dance music category. Now, reactions to the forthcoming awards season submission from Beyonce were divided from fans, as some thought the singer had made this year's best country album and some didn't. A user declared Queen Bey takes Nashville, Beyonce for the country win, while another predicted Beyonce will be the winner. Mark my words. Well, child, I don't know if you were a soothsayer, but be careful what you put out in that universe, because what if y'all get spited and then y'all get mad and then y'all want to go on social media and y'all want to bully people with the bee swarms and all that other stuff because your fave didn't win. Now, one user said, kind of need her to win this one off principle. Genre is about bending. Yes, it's country, but it's also a testament to the long line of inspiration that country has enveloped. It's not about Beyonce. It's about rewarding artistry without boundary. Another said, great news. I'm so happy for her. Hope she brings home the win for this amazing album. One user predicted they're going to snub her 100%. This will be Beyonce's least Grammy award-winning project if it wins any at all. Now, I had to put in people who the naysayers, the people who were a little worried and the people that were positive. And on this show, we like to give it both ways. We versatile on this show. Shout out to the verse. But there were some people that didn't like the album. One person said Cowboy Carter was not a country album. It said it's just cosplaying as one. Another said Jay-Z buying them awards as usual, added, we all know he can't buy the real CMA. Now, Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, told TMZ on September 9th that the CMA's snubbing of his daughter's record, released March 29th, speaks for itself, saying, there's more white people in America, and unfortunately, they don't vote based on ability and achievements. It's still sometimes a white and black thing. Knowles noted that amid the current state of American culture, there's no accountability for people not being accepted of other cultures. And I think that's also something that plays big within the Black community, is the fact that white people can go and jump in different genres and do all different types of music, and y'all walking with open arms. White people could do hip-hop, white people could do pop music, white people could do R&B music, but it's got to have a pop element to it. White people can do rock, white people can jump in all the different genres. The minute Black people want to try to do different things, y'all don't want them to be pop girls. You only want them to do R&B. And quiet as it's kept, R&B is boring. This new version of R&B, the Summer Walkers, the Scissors, all that. That's that snooze R&B that y'all be putting out there. And don't even get me started on Bormani and that flop of an album. I know you in the comments, Sailor Mermaid. He about to get mad at me because I hit up with that Stray. But I don't make the news. I just report it. So I like the fact that when people jump out of, in their own situation and they, say what need to be said and try different genres, whatever, screw what these other people got to say. If you big enough like a Beyonce, and you prove that you are a box office money-making machine, they can't tell you nothing. She can pretty much jump in any genre, and yeah, she'll have her haters and her naysayers, similar to what I think she received this more with this country album, with Cowboy Carter, more than any other genre of music that she has jumped into. So clearly she struck a nerve. And then, we already talked about what Dolly Parton and everything had to say in the previous video. But to let y'all know, the CMAs air on November 20th, 2024 at 8 o'clock. And then the Grammy Awards are gonna, if you care, it's gonna be out on February 2nd in Los Angeles at the Crypto.com Arena. And it will be broadcast on CBS and streamed live on Paramount Plus. Well, Paramount Plus, when it comes out, I'll definitely be watching that. But the nominations are going to come out on November 8th. So literally about a month and a couple of days from now, we'll be talking about it on this show. And I'll definitely be giving my thoughts on it on the nominations. We'll definitely talk about it on this show. Now, before I move on to our next topic, I just saw something on out.com where they was talking about like the nominations with the Grammys and this, that, and the other. So I'm gonna go over there and see what they picks are with the gays. I'm sure that Beyonce is on this list. They did say that they're manifesting a Charlie XCX nomination. Now here's the thing: I was all caught up in Brat Summer. I was caught up. I'm a big old Brat. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her get nominated. But they feel like that she should be nominated in the best dance / electronic album and the best pop duo group performance for the Girl So Confusing remix featuring Lord. Now here's the thing. I do agree that that song needs to be, and she has a lot of duets. She has one, the guest remix with Billie Eilish. She has songs with Troye Sivan. She's got all these different songs. However, I do think that the Girl So Confusing remix with Lord is the ultimate of ultimates that needs to be nominated, simply because there was this ongoing thing between them, and people thought that her and Lord were the same girl because they kind of do look similar. Lord is from, I think, New Zealand. They got that long black hair, similar body type or whatever. Charlie XCX is English, long black hair. So apparently they get their white girls confused. And then on top of that, bringing her out at the Garden, what was it, last week when she performed at the Garden with her and Troye Sivan for the Sweat Tour? That was pure iconic. That was just, that was pure genius. It was iconic. So yeah, they definitely need to have her there. I mean, they need to be nominated for that. Also, so they put Record of the Year, Ariana Grande, We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love. No, she's trash. First of all, that album was trash. So no nominations for her. They did say Beyonce, Texas Hold'em, Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, Chaperone, Good Luck Babe. But now here's the thing. I'm all for Beyonce and Billie Eilish, no Chaperone. Because first of all, Chaperone said she don't want a Grammy, so don't give her one. Hosier, Too Sweet, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso, her one good song on that whole album. Shabuzi, a bar song. I do love that song. Now I'm down at the bar getting tipsy. I do like that song. So shout out to Shabuzi. Teddy Swims. Can I tell you, I'm obsessed with Teddy Swims. I used to think Teddy Swims and what the hell's name? Jelly Roll were the same person. Except here's the thing. Jelly Roll not Jelly Roll. Teddy Swims is sexier. There's something about that man, like I would literally climb him. And another thing is too, that voice, goosebumps. So yeah, I like him. Tanashi Nasty Girl, she ain't getting that. And I'm about tired of Tyler. So no. Now they said our winner, who they chose out of that, is Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. Okay, good for y'all. But they also said they should give Tanashi her 10s. I do like Tanashi, but apparently she's a flop. Nobody cares about her. I mean, I like her, but I want y'all to give her flowers. Another person they said Song of the Year. Beyonce and Miley Cyrus, Two Most Wanted. I do think that she should probably walk away with that one. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. Benson Boone. I had just heard of him, but I heard his songs, but I ain't matched the face with the song until I seen him at the VMAs. I'm gonna start paying a little more attention to him. I mean, he is cute, but the songs and stuff is good too. So I'm definitely keep my eye on little Mr. Benson. So there's some beautiful things. They also got Chaperone. Y'all need to stop putting her in here because she already said she don't want a Grammy. So y'all need to remove her. But I think the only reason why y'all putting her in here is because she a lesbian. But anyway, let's move on because this is Out's list. So they said Chaperone, Good Luck Babe, even though I do love that song though. Charlie XCX and Lord, Girls So Confusing. Hosier, Too Sweet. Taylor Swift, Post Malone, Fortnite. Teddy Swims, Lose Control. SZA, Saturn. And Tim's, Love Me. Is that JJ or Hey Hey? I don't know how you say that name. I don't even know that song. So now their winner, as I said in my own head, Beyonce and Miley Cyrus, Two Most Wanted. I do love that song. It interpolates Fleetwood Mac's legendary 1975 song Landslide. And I like Miley Cyrus. And this will probably be her second. Wait, I'm thinking, didn't she win like 2 Grammys that night? So this will probably be, if I can remember off the top of my head, Miley's 3rd Grammy, should they walk away with it. But they also feel that Hosier might be have a chance to win. Now they said Best New Artist, Benson Boone, Chaperone, Flo Milli, Remy Wolf, Sabrina Carpenter, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims. Now, who do I think they'll go with? Because I haven't even looked at this. This is the first time I'm thinking about it. I think with the gays, they'll probably choose Chaperone. But she said she don't want a Grammy. I'm going to keep running with that. She said she don't want one. So let's not give her one because then y'all leave her alone. So they basically, their choice is Chaperone. Now, album of the year, we already talked about this the other day when we did our own little separate thing with Rolling Stone. Now, here's what they said. Ariana Grande Frappuccino, Eternal Sunshine. No, that album was boring as hell. I know she just released an extended version of it. Child, nobody wanted the original, therefore we don't even want the extended. So no, she should not win. That album was a bore. Next, in the words of Ariana Grande, thank you. Next. So now Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Chaperone, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, Charlie XCX, Brat, Chris Stapleton, Higher, Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet, Taylor Swift, The Torture Poets Department, Thames, Born in the Wild, and Vampire Weekend. Only God Was Above Us, and Tyler. Sidebar, speaking of which, I'm working Vampire Weekend show this weekend. They have a show on Friday. No, they have a show on Saturday. And then they also have a matinee on Sunday, which is weird. They're doing an early morning show. So that's like it's a 12 o'clock show. I'm like, damn, they do concerts, matinee concerts. That's news to me. But nevertheless, that's what I'm doing. So who they choose? So they They chose Ariana Grande. I don't know what the hell y'all on. Y'all are higher than Cuda Brown. Because ain't no way in hell she winning that damn choice. Not for no album of the have y'all gone, are y'all high? Not no album of the year. Get off my line with this foolishness. Some damn Eternal Sunshine. They giving it to that home record. And you Arianators, y'all can suck the shit out my ass. I don't want to hear nothing what y'all got to say about in regards to me going hard on saying no, she ain't getting it. Tell it to somebody who cares, but no, she ain't getting that record. Not for no album or no year. So they said the competition is stiffer than ever. It damn sure is, but not with that record. For album of the year, they said while many people believe that this might finally be Beyonce's year to win the coveted award for her excellent body of work and thought it was about time, split votes, especially with Taylor Swift involved, point to her losing it once again for another record that is most accessible to the general public. One just has to look at Harry Styles' 2023 win. That's no shade to Miss Ariana Grande, but with the critical and commercial success of Eternal Sunshine alongside her recent relationship controversies. Wait, what's Eternal Sunshine a critical and commercial success? Have y'all been checking Billboard like I have in the top 200? Because the overall consensus says that is a lie. That album wasn't no commercial success. She barely promoted it. But anyway, so y'all want to sit up here and spread lies and misinformation and disinformation. Let's continue. So yeah, they're saying that her relationship thing with Ethan Slater and then, all the wicked stuff, that this definitely puts Grande's name on as a top of mind consideration. But that doesn't mean that she's going to win. Like if I had to choose, it's either going to be Taylor Swift or Beyonce. It's either or. Like don't get me wrong. The people that you mentioned on this list, I would love for Charlie XCX to win. I would like Billie Eilish to walk away. Chaperone says she don't want one, so she need to be disqualified. And Short and Sweet was not a good record. I was bored with it. But that's just me. One person's trash is another one's treasure, as they say. But as far as Ariana Grande Frappuccino, no. She is not walking away with no album of the year. Y'all done lost your mind. And if she does get nominated, I'm like, okay. But if she does walk away with it, child, they'll be the Beehive and the Swifties will be riding in these damn streets. So I say, let's say, because I had to attach that other piece on because I had to do with the Grammys. What did y'all think of the clueless white LGBTs over there at Out with their predictions in regards of who's going to walk away with the Grammys once the nominations come out in November, and all the other stuff regarding Beyonce submitting Cowboy Carter for the Grammys this year in the country category? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now, he's I'm gonna get you. Yeah, I was actually supposed to go to the gym today, but child, when this Kylie Minogue story came out, I was like, I got to work, among other things. Now, speaking of Kylie Minogue, let's get into her, because child, I damn near fell out this morning, when I found out this tea, well, we already knew that Kylie Minogue, I was like, fingers crossed, as soon as she announced the European tour dates of her Tension tour, that I was like, she better come to America. I was also like, but I was also on the fence. I was like, is she going to do an arena? Is she going to do like she did before, where she's going to do a smaller event, maybe smaller theaters or whatever? But if Kylie Minogue has worked enough in the United States that people know who she is, that I feel like she is arena material. And I guess her people must have heard, because Miss Mamas is doing arenas in America, and one of them happens to be at my job, Madison Square Garden, in April. But first, let's get into the story. So when I heard about this morning, and I got a theory too, I actually think she's going to do more than one night at the Garden, and I'm going to tell you how I figured that out. So, because I'll be sleuthing. So drop your socks and grab your mini boombox, because the international princess of pop, Kylie Minogue, has announced the official dates for the U.S. leg of her highly anticipated Tension tour. So shout out to Billboard for this story. Say, after rolling out the first slate of international dates in support of her upcoming Tension 2 album last month, Australian pop superstar Kylie Minogue announced the North American leg of her outing on Thursday. That's today. The 2025 Tension Tour is slated to kick off on March 29th with a gig at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto and take the Padam Padam singer to Montreal, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, Austin, Phoenix, San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, and Denver before winding down with a May 2nd show at the Crypto.com Arena in LA. Well, she's closing in LA. We'll see how many of the gays actually go out there in the West Coast to support Kylie Minogue. So now, tickets for Minogue's biggest tour since 2011. Has it really been that long? That's like 13 years. But anyway, she did go through a lot, because remember, she was the Kiss Me Once album era, and then she was up under Jay-Z, and he ruined that whole situation. That was a one and done, which I'm glad that she didn't choose the Barclays Center, because Jay-Z's attached to that, and he already did bad business with you in the past. I wouldn't even revisit that. I'm like, find somebody else to go over there and do your little event, or whatever you want to call it, your little theater. So the tickets go on sale with an American Express pre-sale for card members on October 8th at 10 a.m. local time through October 10th, 10 p.m. local time, followed by an artist pre-sale starting on October 9th at 10 a.m., which fans can sign up now. And the link is on my website if you want to actually figure out how to sign up. The general public on sale will begin at 10 a.m. local on October 11th, She says, I'm beyond excited to announce the Tension Tour 2025. I can't wait to share beautiful and wild moments with fans all over the world, celebrating the Tension era and more. It's been an exhilarating ride so far, and now get ready for your close-ups, because I will be calling lights, camera, action, and there will be a whole lot of padamming. It's funny how she loves to reference a lot of what she does, because it's like, wait a minute, I seen the Twitter video. Let me pull that up so that way y'all see it if you haven't already. Please hold.
North America, it's your turn. I'm coming to a city near you next spring for my Tension tour. Sign up for early access to tickets at kylie.com.
So yeah, so there is the official dates that we have there. And, she has Tension 2 coming out. And Lights, Camera, Action is a reference to the first single, which came out last month. There's also Edge of Saturday Night, which she did with the Blessed Madonna. Blessed Madonna has a new album coming out, and it's funny how I was even watching an interview recently with the Blessed Madonna, and she was talking about her collaboration with Madonna, with Kylie. And the funny part is, I never knew this tidbit. So apparently, when they worked on that Edge of Saturday Night song, they said the original vocalist on that was Ray. Now, if y'all don't know who Ray is, she was a girl that was doing dance music or whatever, then kind of just did a complete 360 and decided to kind of do her own thing, because they the industry wanted her to just be like just be singing dance music songs. That's not where her ministry was. So she went and did this, she just did her own thing. She got dropped. And then she started winning all these awards at the Brits, which the Brits is basically their version of the Grammys. So she wound up cleaning up, and now she got a whole new respect or whatever, but she was actually the original vocalist on that. And then they said, well, Bless Madonna didn't realize, because she said when she had written the song it was a while ago, whatever, and she had found out that Kylie had recorded it and gagged. So, you know, a lot of times that happens when, you know, other people get their hands on your music and stuff. So there's a little, you know, fun fact, in case y'all didn't know that. But they also said that she has collaborations with Orville Peck, BB Rexa, Tove Lo, and Sia. So there's the other song that she did in the past is on this Tension too, but there's also a couple of new bangers on there as well. So we're probably going to get to hear all of this on there. And I've kind of been going back and forth, like, do I really want to? It's 10 dates that it looked like I've seen so far. And yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know why it only have like, it looked like I probably didn't get all the dates on my page. I'll probably have to go back and fix that. But I was like, I don't have the LA dates or anything on there. But anyway, so I say all this to say, I'm definitely excited about this upcoming tour. I'm definitely going to have to see her live. I haven't seen her in America since the For Me For You tour. I think she performed here twice. So I got the opportunity of seeing her perform here twice. And I'm glad that she's finally acknowledging her American fan base, because it's been a long time coming. Now, I did notice something. So when you look at the dates, there's either she's performing every day or every other day. When you look at the New York date between New York and Chicago, there's a huge gap there. So April 4th is when she's performing at Madison Square Garden. The next tour is in DC on April 8th. So why is there a 3-day gap before she goes to the next day? What I'm wondering is there a possibility that we're going to get 2 nights at the Garden, and they're trying to see how the tickets do that first night, and then if there's a successful overwhelming amount of people in New York who buy a ticket for that day, and there's an overwhelming demand for a second night, then they'll add an additional night to the Garden and rent the thing out, and people will buy it. Here's the thing. We got enough homosexuals in New York City that are going to want to see this show. People who have not had the opportunity to ever see Kylie live. I was lucky enough to see her twice. So those who are out there who have never had the opportunity to see her perform will want to experience this. But I've kind of been going back and forth, because I'm like, them tickets are a little too crazy. I'd rather just work it and make money being at the show rather than having to be, you know, spend a whole lot of money on a ticket. Because the one thing I'd be upset about is, you know, even though she is the Australian Madonna, she's been compared to her in a lot of ways. And yeah, their styles and everything is similar in what they do, regards of the dance music and the choreography, the extravagant set pieces and all the other stuff. I do wonder if, I'm just hoping that with her not being a part of Live Nation and all other stuff, that they're not going to price gouge a lot of the people that are going to want to go experience this, because tickets have gotten out of control in regards to people going to see a lot of their favorite artists or whatever the case is. So I'm really hoping, because of who she's signed up with, that yes, you're not going to be charging people $4,000 or $1,250, not $12.50, you know, $1,250. For that much, just for a floor seat, or even a seat on the 6th floor, the 100s. Like, people, like, tickets are crazy cheap. Like, I was looking at some of the prices on Sabrina's show, and they talking about that they dropped the prices. I'm looking, and I'm like, on the 8th floor, which isn't too bad, but it's high, but it's not that bad, $400 something, $500. I'm like, who's got that kind of money? Especially in this type of economy when things is going on and people struggling and all this other stuff. So I'm really hoping and praying that yes, even though that she won't do her. I mean, I don't think it's her. I just, you know, it's these people that got to get their piece or whatever. And I understand, like, with your type of show, the type of show that she puts on, she's going to give you a good, big, grandiose show. But I do feel that it's going to be a 2-nighter in New York. I have a strange feeling that's coming, and I fingers crossed that it does. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are you guys excited that Mother Minot is finally coming to New York and is giving fans a big, you know, people finally, she's going to give us a proper tour, like the same type of tour that they get all the time overseas. We finally going to get that same show in America. It's not going to get diluted. It's not going to get watered down. They ain't going to make cuts because the American audience isn't that big here. But I do think that Kylie has a big enough fan base that she will fill those seats and the places that she's performing at. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Cleveland says it would be amazing if Madonna did a guest duet with her there. And that would be, you know what? I hope that is a surprise because one of the things I have noticed about Madison Square Garden that we tend to do that other places don't do, I feel like because it's the world's most famous arena, there seems to be this ongoing, I don't know if they all just like, it's a thing that they all end up saying, but I kid you not. Everybody that performs at the Garden is always like, it's a dream come true. They're excited to be here. This is like a true milestone, like because the reputation of Madison Square Garden, it's like it's iconic. So when people are able to sell out the Garden and perform there, that's the most. That's bragging rights, I guess is the word. And with that being said, that's the one show that I've noticed that artists will bring out other celebrities to perform with them, specifically for that show. Like Charlie XCX, she brought out, oh my God, she brought out Addison Rae, and she brought out Lord to perform. They performed a new song or whatever. Addison Rae, they performed the new song, but which was like, okay, it's cute or whatever. But that wasn't the big thing. The big gag was when she brought out Lord. Whenever you have other people, like when they did the event with, what was it, the Queens of R&B, they brought out Method Man, they brought out Cisco, they brought out all these other people, you know. So when it's always that big moment, when we had Jelly Roll, he brought out Busta Rhymes, he brought out Post Malone. So it's like when you have certain shows, it always seems like they'll find that time to bring out a guest. So I'm really hoping, just like Kylie came up on stage and sang Madonna, that her and Madonna will actually get up there and do something too. Because I do feel like the gays will damn near pass out. An interviewer asked Rufus Wainwright for his take on Kylie and Madonna. Not you, call Madonna. Kylie definitely came off better. Well, that's kind of the reputation that she has. There was a recent story that I saw about another well, you said Rufus. I'm talking about Rupert Everett, where he came out and was talking about how, and then I should bring that up on the show next time, in regards of how they had, I guess what she was doing on that movie that they did together, The Next Best Thing. And there was some issues between them because she came in and changed up the whole script. She changed the character. She couldn't relate to this character having this type of profession. Oh, we got to make her a yoga teacher. We got to change her name. We got to do all this. So you made it more about what your interests were rather than you playing a character, which is why people get on Madonna when they say that she's not a good actress, because it's not about you. You're supposed to actually disappear in the role that you're playing and play something completely opposite of yourself. But you came and tried to mold this whole thing. There was some drama. The budget on the movie ballooned and the movie became a disaster. And then that caused a rift between her and Rupert because they got into it. So I said his Madonna review included there's a dark force at work here. She surpasses even Joan Crawford in terms of no, Joan Crawford. Can y'all remember, you know, there have been the comparisons where y'all be talking about that Madonna does look like something out of What Happened to Baby Jane. And they said, yeah, I remember Janet last year brought out Busta. That's why I said they always bring me up. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Busta at MSG at this point. Between him and 50 Cent, I can't tell you how many times, because people always tend to bring them out. But like I said, Busta came out. I was like, first of all, it took me a second. I'm like, is that Busta? Because it was like Spliff came out first. But once they got up on that, I was like, okay. But yeah, they always tend to do that. Whenever we have a show, it seems like that's the one place where y'all want to bring out all the surprise guests and all the other stuff. So it is a big deal when working there. But anyway, so we have, just to let you guys know, we have two more topics to get to, and then we are done with today's show. So if you have not already, you please hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Okay, so now without further ado, let's get into Ms. Ozempic. I kid, but not really. So, Christina Aguilera got the fans a little concerned about her drastic weight loss. They feel like she's withering away, that she's looking really small. Now, the last time we seen Christina this small was when she first came out with Genie in a Bottle. But even then, she looked a little, she was a little skinny thing, but she was healthy too. But here it is, Cheryl, it is giving a little Ozempic tease. Now, she do look good, but I do understand it's like, yeah, when you're in your 40s and all that fat is just disappearing out of your cheeks and all that other stuff, it is, a cause for concern. So a fan took a video of the 43-year-old pop icon attending an event on Friday went viral, and social media users expressed their concerns about her dramatic transformation. Now, while some came to her defense and said she always been petite, I like to call her petite from a friend of mine, others argued that she looks like the skinniest she's ever been. Now, this comes amid speculation that she's been using Ozempic and rumors that she got a facelift after months of Aguilera showing off her increasingly slender frame on social media. The singer-songwriter was attending Barry's Boot Camp, a workout studio in West Hollywood, for a collaboration and to celebrate the 25th anniversary of her self-titled debut album. Now, here's the thing. Damn it. First of all, number one, I feel old, the fact that y'all said that album came out 25 years ago. And number two, Barry's Boot Camp, is that the same boot camp that Todrick was at with his man Liam in that YouTube video that he did? Because that kind of looked like the place. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. The gays like to hang out in West Hollywood. But people seem to forget at one point, Christina's weight did fluctuate a bit. And then recently, once she started doing the residency in Vegas at the Voltaire, the same place that Kylie Minogue did her residency, I think people started to notice that she was losing a drastic amount of weight and it wasn't looking healthy. And I guess they probably also felt that, oh, sis, you ain't never been inside. Like, we haven't seen you in no gym. First of all, you're not going to see celebrities in no gym. I mean, unless they want you to see them heading to the gym. But there's always ways, like, especially if you're in LA. I think they have them in New York too. But when I lived in LA, there was always like certain gyms, especially when I used to work in Century City, which is in Beverly Hills. There's back entrances and things of that nature. So you're not going to see all the things that you expect to see. He said for the event, she slid into a skin-tight bodysuit with knee-high leather boots, which you see in the picture, as you can see in the photo, I should say. Now, shortly after the Genie in a Bottle hitmaker shared her own footage of the event with a montage of fun clips of herself arriving at the studio and meeting attendees. Now, I do want to pull that up. That was on the Twitter that somebody posted, where it said, Ozempic is not what a girl wants or what a girl needs. I was like, ooh, y'all shady for that. But hold on. So, yeah, here it is. And I'll just... So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to just leave it on mute for a second while we go into that. So, actually, they said, represent a 1990 hit single, What a Girl Wants. Another person chimed, Ozempic is not what a girl wants or what a girl needs. Shady. One user claimed that they could see her muscle atrophy, the thinning of muscle mass, and said it was definitely Ozempic. What child they going in? Okay, I'm going to just leave it there. We'll put it on that because it's showing her holding that weight. Well, look, maybe Tyler need to use that same damn weight because she be acting like she too good to be holding her own damn awards. So maybe, Christina, you need to hand her that award. I mean, you need to hand her that weight so that way she can work on the arm strength. So they also said that another fan was gagged as they simply tweeted, bruh, that's crazy. Other retweets and remarks included a fan comments about how her transformation was a lot and not a good look. Saying sometimes trying to go back to your old size is not a good look. An a Twitter user. I said the wrong damn thing. It's always Twitter over here. She looks sick. In response, another fan wrote, this also isn't her old size. I think she might be the skinniest she's ever been. Look at her arms. Another tweet joked about her hiatus, saying, so Christina Aguilera found an Ozempic pen, and now she needs to find a pen to give us a classic hit. Y'all are shady in these comments. But I will say this. I really wasn't paying attention to her and stuff like that. But in the back of my mind, whenever I seen her, I was like, Xtina, you are looking a little thin. You are looking thinner than usual. And here's the thing: if people want to use Ozempic, and she is a petite girl, and she did have a lot of weight on her at one point, if you want to use something that can be a launching pad to start you on your weight loss journey, and you're worrying about the possibility of high blood pressure and diabetes because you start to encounter all that the older you get, then I'm all for whatever y'all need to use to help with the weight loss. However, when it starts to become too much, you might need to pull back a bit. Because then I'm like, maybe you need to stop shooting yourself up with the Ozempic and maintain the weight loss by diet and exercise and being active and all that other stuff and maintaining your health. Because if you start to wither away and become dust, then what? And then some fans also, because I don't want it to all be negative, so some came to her defense and said she looked great after her natural transformation. Because with all the Ozempic talk, I'm gonna just put air quotes. All this talk about Christina Aguilera and her body is really gross. Christina has always been thin. She was naturally thin as a teenager. Her body fluctuated throughout the years as it does when one gets older, lives, and has kids. Ozempic or not, she looks amazing. Leave her alone. Fuck. Well, they didn't. Well, y'all pretty much got that. Another person said, did I read this one that said Christina Aguilera even looks good in normal lighting when she's not on stage or on set? She does have the bobblehead Ozempic thing going on, but still looks amazing. Well, look, she had a song called Bobblehead too. I don't know what track it is, but it's on the Bionic album. So, yeah, so they said this comes after the burlesque star said she was body shamed throughout her career in an interview with Glamour in August, saying the hitmaker said that in her early years in the music industry, music bosses were unhappy when she gained weight in her 20s. But it's like, your body, like they said, your body fluctuates. It's hormones. It's, when you're a teenager, your body changes. And then until you become the woman and stops developing at that certain age. And then, yeah, so the body's going to fluctuate. But there's always been and still is, I believe, this pressure that women and even men have to look a certain way in order to make it in this industry. And it's sad that we tend to put so much pressure on people and body images, because we're not going to sit up here and act like only women go through body issues. There's men out here, particularly the gays, or as I like to say, the homosexuals, that we go through our body dysmorphia. I'm someone who has body dysmorphic type issues, whatever. I'm going to the gym. I'm eating the things that I need to be eating. I drink my little shakes. But of course, I have my vices. Every now and again, I got to have my little ice cream sandwiches and my chips and well, actually, I don't drink. When I do drink iced coffee, I don't do the creamers and all that the crazy stuff. I drink it black. Or if I go to like the Dunkin' Donuts or the Starbucks or whatever, I make sure I don't be putting all that extra stuff in the coffee as well. But there's, we all have our vices, and we shouldn't deter ourselves from having the things that we want to have. Or maybe we need to go and be more like Travis Kelce, where he was just like, oh, I have to lie to myself so that way I don't binge and eat like a hog or whatever the case is. But yeah, I'm constantly in the gym working out and all this stuff because I want to make sure that, I don't leave the earth at a young damn age for being unhealthy. But here's the thing. I like Christina. Shout out to her for being on the journey that she's on. I know that it could be a struggle, whatever her journey is, and she wants to go on that's up to her. But I hope that she's not out here abusing the Ozempic and showing the real pitfalls and downside of when you tend to overdo something and what it does to your body. So kudos to her. And I ask all of you this question. What do y'all think of this story? Do y'all think that she's going a little too far with the Ozempic, or is it that, I don't know what it is. They all said it was she had a facelift. And one doctor said that they believe that she had a facelift, whatever the case is. I mean, things start to sag when you get to be a certain age. But she's 43. What she got to worry about? But then, of course, it could be a lot of years of wear and tear. It could also be like when you were a big girl, how you were a little swollen, and then when you start to lose all that weight, you want to get a little nips and tucks to tighten everything, so that way you don't have the loose skin, the stretch marks, your face used to sit all the way up here, but now it's when you're older, it's like this, and now you want to pull things up a little bit because things do sag when you get older. So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Oh, you said when she was thick. Truly fascinating to watch otherwise thickum celebrities magically shrink into nothingness. Christina, Adam Lambert, Kelly Clarkson. Oh yeah, but yeah, I said the same thing. If you like it, I love it. But yeah, there was a point where Adam Lambert was a big girl, and all of a sudden she was snatched. I seen her at Fire Island. Well, Sailor Mermaid and I both. Well, I saw him. I had to point him out to him. And I was like, well, he's at Fire Island. He was snatched from the guards. But yeah, did people bring up Adam Lambert, the possibility of Ozempic? I think it was mentioned, and then we moved on from it. But I do agree, there was conversation about Kelly Clarkson with the Ozempic. She's denied it. So maybe it wasn't Ozempic. Maybe it was Mounjaro. Because remember, at one point, they were trying to accuse Whoopi Goldberg of using Ozempic. She was like, no, I wasn't using Ozempic, it was Mounjaro. So maybe I need to ask the right questions. Not everybody's using Ozempic. I just think because Ozempic is such a popular name that people have just discovered and helps with weight loss, that's the go-to word. I mean, that's the go-to thing that everybody's going to bring up. But yeah, like I said, if there was a way for me to kickstart and lose weight or whatever, I would probably use Ozempic or whatever the case is. I mean, I've heard, but then I keep getting mixed messages about people, so it depends on your body type or whatever. But then I would also be in the gym and working out, and then once I've gotten to a place where I'm satisfied, then I would just start doing things on my own. But then again, do people even know where that line is that you draw? Because, when you're someone who suffers from body dysmorphia, even when people say, oh, you look good, you look good, you look good, some people look at themselves, oh no, I'm fat. Oh no, I seen like you start to pick apart yourself in the mirror. So people don't see what you see. She looked better when she had the same shape as Mariah. Not a big old head. But also it kind of made me wonder, because when she got little thickums, did she put because I think Christina got implants. Because her breast was never that damn big when she was little. She was good, but it's like, yeah, that's why, look, some people saying she looks skinny, but that's the industry for you. They're gonna praise you when you snatched in that way. She not acting cray in videos with not. Okay. The squad has got something going on with Miss Brittany. There are global supply issues of Ozempic, meaning diabetics who need it cannot get their prescriptions because, and that's the thing that irritates me, is that there's people out here who have diabetes that need this stuff, so that way they don't. I need a moment of silence for this comment. That's why I paused. But anyway, I'm not going there, because I seen Vivica the other day, and child, I screamed. So I'm gonna just leave it here, and we're gonna move on to the finals. I'll let y'all be shady. I'm not touching that one. Cause yeah. Shout out to Vivica. Who's playing who's in that new movie with Jussie Smollett that he directed and starred in and wrote. So let's get in to Miss Michaela J, who is speaking out about her debut album, which is called 33, saying that the work healed the trauma that she never addressed as a person of color and a person who's trans and a woman. And I was like, you know what? I didn't even, no shade, but I didn't even know that Michaela J came out with a new album until I saw the article. So shout out to her. I'm definitely going to check the album out. I'll check it out tomorrow when I can get around to it. But yeah, I didn't know, because I don't feel like people were promoting her music in a way. Like, I mean, I've seen it in passing. Like, I've seen when I would follow her Instagram, like there would be advertisements in that way. But I have not seen any of the majors bringing it up, especially like the queer blogs. But shout out to Pink News, because they're the one that told this story. So it says, the Post star released her highly anticipated debut album on September 26th under the moniker Michaela J. The 10-track album explores various genres, including pop, R&B, Afro beats, and ballroom influences, and includes 2 spoken word interludes. The star previously announced the album along with releasing the single Green Lights and said at the time to Essence magazine, "I'm super excited that I finally get to have music out as this is a new sound and a new era for me. So I've always loved pop and R&B music, and I've always dreamt of how it would sound if I mashed the two together, and I feel like I succeeded with that, along with a story that will hopefully last the test of time when regarding the past, the present, and the future." Well, I do like her song Green Lights. I didn't hear that song, and I like the video and all this stuff. So I'm definitely curious to hear what the rest of the album sounds like. They also said the American Horror Story actress has reflected on the album following its release to the die-hard into the hands of fans, admitting that it healed some unresolved trauma for her, particularly when it comes to her identity as a trans woman and person of color. Now, following the 33 album listening party, Rodriguez said to Them magazine that she was able to really sit with the album again, and I think it's subconsciously healing the trauma that I never addressed. Now, after asking what trauma she was referring to, she responded, she said, "The traumas of the world and the things I have dealt with, just simply being a person who is different, whether it is being a POC, a person who's trans, and being a woman. All of those things that I am and what I've experienced through being those intersectionalities have brought out a lot of reality. When I was listening to the songs, I just broke down and I was so happy that it could do that for me. And I was like, this could heal me from what I was going through. Is definitely going to help somebody else out there." And I think like when it comes to artistry, that's kind of what you hope that the music does. The one things I always said, look, music brings the people together, don't it? The bourgeoisie and the rebel. Shout out to Madonna or Madonna too. But it's like, yeah. Music is always I've always felt like out of all the genres of art, music has always been something that has been a healer. Music is the thing that brings everybody together. Music is, it gives an assortment of emotions that you deal with, happiness, sadness, indifference, whatever you want to call it. That's what music gives to people depending on what your listening ears are. And I've always felt that we need more things out here where we can hear perspectives of the LGBTQIA LMNOP plus community when we want to talk about things that affect our community. And we don't have a lot of, in my opinion, I can't even think of, well, I'm sure there are some trans artists out there, but never on the someone of the caliber of the Michél J, who is speaking on their experiences, giving good quality music, and speaking on things that could be relatable. Now, hopefully she gets pushed and gets to perform at the Pride events and this other stuff instead of these promoters always wanting to focus on the allies to give them a thing because y'all want people to show up. And it's like these artists make music for us, or from us for us, which is I'm a queer artist making music for my community. Now, if other people want to come in and take a gander and learn some things, then that's great. But for the most part, I'm making this music for myself and to share it with like-minded people who are going through the things that I've gone through. And I've always liked Michél J. Ever since Saturday Church, I was a fan of hers. And then she went on and did Pose and all the other things. Now she's on Loot and she's doing a bunch of other projects that she has coming up. So I'm glad that she's out here booked and busy. I'm glad that she's working. I'm glad that she's doing getting to explore all the different avenues of her creativity. And I'm definitely curious to hear this new album, 33. So I'll say all this to say, what do y'all think of this? Or are y'all excited to hear this new album from Michél J? And we just need more artists to come out here. It's funny how I feel like I resonate more with her stuff than Billy Porter and that Black Mona Lisa record that he came out with. He came out with two versions. He came out with the Black Mona Lisa, and then he did one I think was called the Cookout Sessions that came and went like a fart in the wind. That came out I think last month. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And you said, do you remember that singing video she did? Mm-hmm. And so she did an episode of Kiki Palmer's podcast the other day. Oh, she did? I did not even know about that. I definitely have to check out her podcast. But yeah, that's what I was surprised about because I remember saying before that I wasn't going to even cover stuff in them anymore because of what was in here. When you said they have issues with transphobia and people of color and that sort of thing, how they was up in here impersonating people, queer people of color so they can get grants for their news outlet. And so I do agree with you on that. It's like maybe what it is that slowly but sure, and especially because you are someone who is a Brit, that maybe they're trying to change their overall assessment after being called out. I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. If you actually go in and try to make the changes after you got called out and busted and the shenanigans you was pulling, then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But if y'all doing, so I like the idea that, yeah, I am surprised, like you said, is that I am surprised that they covered it, especially, when the articles and the stuff reports came out about how there was some internal stuff going on, especially in regards of a lot of behind the scenes transphobia, the way they would cover trans issues, and the way that they didn't want to cover dealing with people of color. Did they promote Billy Porter? No. Well, I'm not surprised by this. Finally, she left his dumb behind. There was something that they mentioned on the neighborhood talk the other day about him. I didn't even care to listen to it. It was something about relationships or whatever, and people were dragging him in the comments over it, or not even about relationships. I think it was about a 9 to 5 or something or another. I don't remember all the time in my head, but I do remember seeing something about 9 to 5. If I was to go over the neighborhood talk right now, it probably will be here forever because they post this stuff 50,000 damn times a day. So by the time you get down to the story that you want to get to, and it's funny, that's the first thing that came up. It said DDG confirmed split with Halle Bailey. Halle and I have decided to go our separate ways. Well, it took her long enough. She should have dumped your ass a long time ago. Because I always thought that DDG was a mom. Now she's stuck with a ninja, a no good ninja with a baby. Like Cardi B. One day you girls gonna learn. Damn, why do I have to talk about Summer Walker? Now she done popped up. Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, now I found it. They said that DDG says people should only get a 9 to 5 to fund their business, saying you shouldn't be working a job to take care of your life forever. What? You shouldn't be working a job to take care of your life forever. What the hell is he talking about? Has he ever worked a job? Like, I hate when people who ain't never worked a job a day in their life want to tell hardworking individuals how they should live their life and what they should do. One person said, I keep my 9 to 5 with my health care and 401k. Thank you. Another person said, nah, the economy thrives on 9 to 5 workers. They just need high pay and appreciation. Well, we do need high pay, quite as a scale. Because they got them port people that deliver the packages and all the other stuff, they striking. So they said, so if everyone start a business, who gonna work, genius? That mentality is really what has the world so behind right now and have us in inflation. Do you know why the service is slow everywhere you go? Because the pandemic gave everyone a taste of having money, but not having to work. So now no one wants a job. Everyone think they could start online businesses and become millionaires, so nowhere has employees for real. Well, you know what? Maybe y'all need to stop listening to these damn celebrities just speak out they behind and just do what you need to do. If you want to start a business, then you take with the money that you got saved up, then by all means, you take that risk and do whatever you want to do. But if you actually want to work that 9 to 5 and be able to have your pension and your 401k and, all the other things, the amenities and the healthcare and everything that comes with having that regular job, then you go ahead and do that. Stop listening to these people. Because where DDG getting his money? I can't name not one damn song that man done made, but he out here trying to give people advice on working. Go sit your little dumb behind down somewhere. Your opportunistic behind, because that's what you was, nothing but an opportunist getting with Miss Halle. So they said, yeah, Billy Porter's doing a Child, don't even bring that up, please, because I'm just like irritated by that whole If y'all see my past video, then y'all already know how I feel about him doing that James Baldwin biopic. They said, which is interesting considering the very different. Yep, exactly. And I talked about that, the fact that how you sit there and talk about you want peace and you're all for Israel. And I'm like, do you even know what James Baldwin stood for? And especially his views on Palestine? Like, are you slow? But I said that what he probably doing, I just truly believe in my heart of hearts, he's jumping on this because it's award season and he wants an Oscar. That's basically what that is. I don't know if he's on his way to EGOT status, but that's what this is giving. He said you should only be working 9 to 5 to afford your business. Oh yeah, that's what it was. But that was like, yeah, I found it. But I'm glad you knew what the tea was, or you was paying it, or because I guess you follow them, so you knew you had heard about it. So he said we want Whitney about Bobby, we want Cardi about Offset. Well, I feel like Whitney got with Bobby because y'all wouldn't, not you, But a lot of y'all didn't let her, including Sissy, messy behind, wouldn't let her be with Robin. That's what she wanted to be with. Wendy like getting her box ate by a woman. Y'all didn't want her to be a bisexual woman. So she had to go running over there with Bobby. So yeah, but then, these girls don't never listen when it comes down to things. But you gotta learn the hard way. Sometimes you gotta listen to that, that inner voice telling you, leave these people alone. Sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. But anyway, we are officially at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's show, commenting, all the good stuff that y'all always do every time y'all come in here. The ones that was commenting, the ones that was watching. Shout out to y'all. Hit that like button, that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you all for tuning in. I will be on tomorrow. I gotta come up with, some topics. Whatever juicy stuff is going on for the weekend. Oh, I gotta put up my list of Stephen King stuff because Salem's Lot came out today. So I gotta watch that. Hopefully I can watch it tonight so I can talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, we need to do that Stephen King thing about the movies and all the other stuff that we talked about, especially with it being October and stuff. Maybe I'll try to do that over the weekend on Sunday or whatever the case is, if there's nothing going on in the world of entertainment, or maybe we'll pop up and do it tomorrow. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely have that coming up soon, and we'll do that special episode. So like I said, thank you all for tuning in. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and hit me up on all my social media platforms. It's down in the description. Ooh, excuse me. I'm getting hungry. So until next time.